Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
Agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right
to live? Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well. But you've never seen anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content now. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are back with another interesting subject here on the Roger Report Live, because, I mean, let's be realistic. That's all we do over here. That's all we do over here. We have very interesting subject. And today we are going to be looking at something going on with the brothers, okay? We're going to be looking at black men afraid to be heroes. Yes, y'all, black men afraid to be heroes, all right? Now, I know people can think about this in a lot of different ways, and I know some of y'all like, what the heck is he talking about? But hold on, we'll get to it in a minute. But before we get into it, let me say shout out to all the people who come through and give me views on a regular basis, because that's the fam at the end of the day. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the people who leave comments after the streams. Okay, these are things that help grow the channel in the algorithm. Shout out to all the people who hit that like button. Okay, shout out to all the people who hype me up every chance you get. Okay, all these things matter. All these things are welcome. All these things help. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty, who become financial contributors over here at the Roger Report Live, because we cannot do the same things the same way without you. And that's just what it is. So shout out to each and every one of you. All right. Now, and shout out to the people who show up early. Okay. Over here at the Roger Report Live, we got to recognize the people who check in right at Jumpstart. But y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream, my main man, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He is in the building. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. Shout out to Ken C and Rick. Glad to have you in the building. My main man, Gold P, is in the house. What's up, my brother? What's up? We got Trail Bentley in the house. Shout out to you, my brother, representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Shout out, hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. My main man, Landlord Sims, is in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? Boot Camp is in the house. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Tunnel Runner, what's happening? What's happening? Great to see you. The Great Black Reset is at the cool table. Good to have you. Good to have you. Floyd Thompson is here. Yay, yay. We got Moo School in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. My main man, Mr. Suge to you. Shout out to the pit crew. Mr. Suge to you here representing. Glad to have you. Boot Camp is in the house. What's good? What's good? Kunguru was in the building. Great to see you as well. Great to see you as well. All right, folks, we are going to get into this. And shout out to Trail Bentley. He said, personally, I'm the anti-hero. And you know what? Not shocking. I'm going to just say not shocking. All right? Because black men, I'm going to say, we have pretty much been convinced that we're not the hero. We shouldn't be the hero. We shouldn't look at ourselves as the hero. But these allow negative things to happen more often and allow for a much more negative viewpoint. And that's just real talk. Now, am I saying that black men are not heroic? Absolutely not. Black men got everything it takes to be heroic. Okay? That's what we do. I've done so many stories where black men have been heroes. Okay? I don't remember his last name right offhand, but it was a brother. I think his name was like Finn or Fritz. Fritz, I believe it was. The guy was doing a ride share company like Uber or Lyft or whatever the case is. Okay? Man had a customer going to the airport. Did a whole story about him and other heroes of his ilk. He's driving down the street trying to get the lady to the airport. They happen to come across a fire. He look at all the commotion, stops, goes into the burning building, helped get a couple people out, and then got back in the car and drove the woman to the airport, and she still made a plane without a problem. It ain't like black men ain't heroic. We got all the tools, okay? You got all the tools, okay? All right. You got everything you need to be a hero. But for some reason, we don't want, we don't accept the hero that we are. And it's one thing to be humble. It's nothing wrong with being humble. You can be humble about being heroic. I'm not saying black men shouldn't be humble, but no, we way past just being humble. We have been convinced by others that we should be the hero. All right. I was saying something the other day about Superman, because when you think about him, the world's strongest man, the world's most thoughtful man. What group of people are the strongest and the most thoughtful? He gets his power from the sun. Who does the sun do something for? Superman been black the whole time. Now I get it. I get it. The people who came up with the quote unquote concept of Superman, it was a white guy, and they was able to get on. I ain't tripping about that. But Superman been a black man the whole time. Okay. But black men have never seen themselves that way, even though we do all this Superman type stuff on a regular basis. All right. Black men, all the different things we've done. We have been burned, beaten, lynched, and all kinds of stuff for protecting black women and children. Okay. Do we get credit for it? No. Okay. No. Now, shout out to Intuit X, proving my point. He says hero equals simping. No, it doesn't. It don't. You know, a lot of y'all have a simp mentality, and sometimes you're gonna project it. Hero don't mean simping. Hero mean doing things that you've determined should be done, not other people. And this is why a lot of black men don't like the ideal of being a hero. Because you don't stand there and do what's right because you say it's right. You do things according to what other people want. And then because we don't want to recognize that we're doing stuff that other people want us to do, and it may not be in our best interest, then we say, well, being a hero is bad. No, it ain't. Let's think about the stories of heroes. Okay. The hero is the guy who shows up and does the right thing simply because it's the right thing. What have been black men been doing since before America even established itself as America? Black men been doing the right thing simply because it is the right thing. Black men didn't join the wars of this country so they can carry out white people's agenda. They got into wars in this country to do what they believe is right. Point blank, period. Okay? You've never seen a group of black men get together and say, we're going to do this thing so we can help further people who are creating problems. No, we do things because it's the right thing to do. We determine it's the right thing to do. We do that thing, and that's it. Now, other people tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And a lot of times black men are so worried about what other people are saying that you lose track of being the hero that you was made to be because you are worried about what other people think about you. And we teach other black men to be afraid to be a hero. Now, you do what's right because you determined it was right. And when you think about it, who gets to determine the hero story? Okay? Who gets to determine the hero story? See, what a lot of y'all don't like, in order to be a hero, you got to make some enemies. Now, I don't care what kind of sense you say it's in. Yeah, there are people who would rob banks. Okay? And let's think about it, y'all. Let's think about it. This hero who well, I said rob banks, but what I meant to say, there's heroes who will stop a bank robbery, right? Okay, you'll stop a bank robbery. And people look at that as that's a heroic thing to do because we have these ideas of superheroes and things like that. So the superhero comes in and they stop the bank robbery. Okay, they stop the bank robbery. All right. Now there was a movie a little while back. Okay. I guess it was a new hero that was created. I don't know if the guy I don't know if it's something from back in the day. Okay, anything like that. I hadn't heard of him. I'll just say that I hadn't heard of him. Will Smith played the character. The character's name is Hancock. Okay. Why Hancock? Because he just simply forgot what his name was, and people said, sign your Hancock right here. So he just took the name Hancock. All right. Now, in that particular film, he stopped the bank robbery when he was on his quote unquote hero's journey. Now, as he was stopping the bank robbery, he comes to find out that a robber had a dead man switch. So his hand couldn't come off the trigger. Okay, cool. So he got to do something about this bank robbery. Okay, the guy thought he had him in some sort of at least a stalemate. So what can Hancock do? He did something that a lot of people would say a hero shouldn't do. He chopped his hand clean off. Now, what did Hancock do when he had to come to this decision on how to stop this man who got the dead man switch? Did he confer with anybody? Did he ask, what moral things he should think about? Because if I chop the man's hand off, his hand is gone. Can he get his hand put back on? If he get his hand put back on, is his hand gonna work? Is he gonna be able to, save his hand and use his hand again? Hancock didn't worry about none of that stuff. See, when someone convinced Hancock to be a hero, I'm gonna say one of the better parts of what Hancock was doing was he was being a hero in the way he determined, not the way people was trying to coach him to be a hero. Okay, and I'm gonna say it was a pretty good movie. Okay, pretty good movie. Because sometimes you just got to chop somebody's hand off. Now, think about that from a realistic standpoint. What would people say about him chopping his hand off? Well, if he was a black hero, they're going to have a whole lot to say about chopping, because he chopped some white man's hand off. Who cares? Well, guess what? Some of everybody going to care. It's going to be all over the papers. It'll be in the news shows that day. Is he truly a hero? Is he a monster? Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But at the end of the day, Hancock was being his best when he made his own decisions about what he determines what makes a hero. Now, black men, because we live in this country of the United States of America, and shout out to all the people who don't live here, who listen in. We live in a country that has been anti-black men from the birth of the country, or the inception of the country. Technically, we have information about things that happened before this country was even put together the way it is. So we know it's been anti-black men far before this country was established the way it is today. And black men, I'm going to say some of it can be self-esteem. Okay. You have been convinced that your self-esteem should not be high. You have been convinced that other people's interests come before your own. You have been convinced to sacrifice for things and others that don't even make sense to you. And a lot of us don't like it because we get faced with some decisions that don't make sense for us to make. But we worried about what other people think. Okay, we worried about what other people think. I've said myself many times, if I had a child who was kidnapped, okay, I would kill the kidnappers just to get my child back. That's been a very controversial statement. Okay, now why is it controversial for me to kill somebody who kidnapped my child? It's controversial for y'all. It ain't controversial for me though. To me, it's very simple, very easy. You take my kid, I kill you. End the story. All right. It's not controversial. Okay. I've said before, if I were to come home and find out somebody, some 35-year-old man, for example, was messing with my 13-year-old daughter, who could not sexually consent to a man. Maybe he the neighbor across the street. I find this out, I go kill him. Why? Because that's my daughter. Okay. That's all. Okay. For me, not that big a deal. Okay. I'm going to do what I need to do. Now, I do understand, because I would do what I need to do to protect my daughter, I would have other people, because of course, if I do something like that, I get arrested, they're going to take me to jail. Okay. We have a trial, evidence to be presented. Now, would people say I'm guilty? Sure. Absolutely. The vast majority of people would say I'm guilty. Why? Because I killed somebody to protect my daughter. Now, why would they say I'm guilty? Well, number one, I'm a black man in America. So the chance of somebody saying I'm not guilty is about next to none. Okay? White people ain't going to say, for the most part, white people are probably not going to say not guilty in a case like that. And the truth be told, a lot of black folks probably wouldn't say not guilty in a case like that. Truth be told, because we don't even see ourselves as heroes, I think the average people today, if there was a all black jury and I had to stand trial because I killed a man that lived across the street who was sexually abusing my daughter, I'm pretty convinced that they would find me guilty. Because I don't care what you say. You give me an all black jury. All right. You give me some black men on the jury, but you get some black women on the jury. It could even be even. It could be 6 and 6. Am I going to prison? According to them, probably. Why? Because the black men in that jury box would probably kowtow to the women. And the women gonna want to lock me up. Why? Because I harmed a white man. And that's just what the reality is. I harmed some white man. Now, everybody gonna say, well, the white man should have been messing with my daughter. Everybody gonna say that, but they also gonna say, you a nigga. Who is you to protect your daughter? That's what they gonna say. Let's keep it real. You a nigga. Who are you to protect your daughter? You don't get to do things that men do. If your daughter need help, why ain't you call a white man? That's what people do. If your daughter need help, why didn't you call a white man? Okay, why didn't you get the white man's approval? Because let's be realistic about it, y'all. If you calling the police, you're calling a white man. If somebody else shows up outside of a white man, you view them as a white approved person. Now, why I got to do all that? It's my daughter. What I need to check in with somebody for? Because the idea of a black man being a hero is basically anti-American. Okay? It's basically anti-American. Okay? Now, I understand there's things that we got to deal with because this country is anti-American. But there are some things that just go a little too far for me as a person. And everybody has different, quote unquote, breaking points. Now, for me to allow my daughter to be harmed by some guy who lives across the street, that's just too far for me. Okay? That's too far for me. Now, I understand anybody else who wouldn't do what I would do in that situation. I totally get it. Okay? I totally get it. All right? But that's too far for me. See, I have to be a hero. I'm a hero with power. It is my job ultimately to decide how my power should be used. And if I decide you got to go in order to protect my daughter, then you just got to go. It is what it is. Nobody's going to tell me not to be a hero. Now, somebody will say, well, if you do that, you might end up sacrificing the rest of your life trying to save your daughter. Well, that's my daughter. Why? Ain't that the person I should sacrifice for? I mean, if I'm going to sacrifice something, if I'm going to sacrifice something or even potentially sacrifice something, how come my daughter ain't good enough to do it for? Would you want me to sacrifice for something else? Okay. You want me to sacrifice for something else? Now, I'd rather sacrifice for me and mine. Now, shout out to G.I. Pitt G.I. Pitt says, aren't we all heroes in our own story, Roger? No, we're not. We're not. A hero is a hero in their story, but that don't mean everybody heroes. Okay. See, the hero is the person who does what needs to be done because they determined it needed to be done. And regardless of the circumstances or the odds, they did what they believe was the right thing to do. So no, we're not always heroes in our own stories. Most folks don't want to be a hero in their story. And black men, we have this attitude that other people should determine if we heroes or not. I determine if I'm a hero. I'm not worried about what history say. Okay? I determine it. And you know what? I know how to see heroism in other people. All right? The people who look out for me, I see as heroes. It's that simple at the end of the day. Okay? But there's a lot of people who have been heroes, and America don't look at them as heroes. And guess what? A lot of us don't look at them as heroes either. You know, that don't happen. You know. Now, unfortunately, my channel has been attacked so many times, so I don't have all the stuff that I have done in the past. Okay. You know, it's a very unfortunate thing, but you know, it is what it is. That don't mean I don't keep doing stuff. You know, now if I allow other people to determine what I'm supposed to do, you know, because my channel has been attacked in the past, I'd have just quit. But no, that don't work for me. Okay. That don't work for me. Now, let's say, for example, you take a person like a Micah Johnson. I did something on him before because I understand what kind of hero he is. Now, if y'all don't remember the name Micah Johnson, okay, I believe people called him Micah X at the time too, because his middle name is Xavier. Now, the man shot at some police. Now, if my memory is correct, right offhand, it was some police. Well, he picked his targets. Okay, he picked his targets. He shot and hit 11 officers when he was shooting, and I believe he killed 5 of them. All right. Now, a lot of people tried to say that Micah Johnson was somehow a bad guy. They said that, you know, Micah Johnson did something he ain't supposed to do. All right. Now, I saw Micah Johnson shoot the police because he didn't like how black people were being treated in this country. Okay. Micah Johnson went to the military. Okay. Micah Johnson was a good guy. Matter of fact, a great guy as far as I could tell. Great guy. Lived a pretty decent life. Ended up going to the military. He heard all this stuff about being a hero. He come home, you know, after serving his country, and he has a problem with the fact that black folks who are citizens of the United States are being mistreated by the police force all throughout America. Now, his mindset said black folks. It wasn't just black men, which is really the target of that type of stuff. But it can happen to a woman too. But it's really black men that's the target. But he, in his mind, he said black people. All right. So he was thinking about us. And he knew he wasn't going to make it out. He had no plans of going back home. You know, he decided what he was going to do, and he did it. He tagged up 11 officers, though, and took 5 of them up out of here. Now, a lot of black folks did say, okay, well, he shouldn't have shot innocent officers. I mean, you can have that as an opinion. You can have that as an opinion. The man attacked the police force. The same police force that attacked us. All right? The same police force that attacked us. I ain't see the problem. Okay? Unfortunately, when you join a team, when your team does stuff to create a loss, you lose with them. Okay. I'll say that again. Unfortunately, when you join the team, when your team does stuff to create a loss, you lose with them. That's just how it works. Okay. See, I've said time and time again, black folks gonna have to get over the fact that life ain't fair. And you're gonna have to get some control over your own ego. All right. Now, my team is Chicago, y'all. Okay, I got different teams in Chicago. Technically, I got different teams in Chicago. So my basketball team is the Bulls. Now, I understand the organization makes all kinds of moves. They do a lot of horrible stuff. But for me to be a Bulls fan, to be a real quote unquote Bulls fan, I cheer them on when they win, but I got to rock with them when they lose too. It's hard. It's hard, but I got to rock with them when they lose too. And they be doing their share losing. Now, nowadays, they do their share losing. All right. They make some decisions. I don't like the decisions all the time. I don't like the decisions a lot of the time. But if that's my team, that's my team. Now, Micah, okay, as far as I know about him, he was a productive brother. Okay. He's a respectable brother. All right. He's a functional brother. And he believed in black men's leadership. And them saying that some black men who grew up in this country, all right, who got military training, who had a problem with the police steady attacking quote unquote black people, and he handled his business. I don't understand what the problem is. I just don't understand what the problem is. Okay. I don't get it. He fought the people that fights his team. He looked at himself as a black man. He said, these people are doing too much. I got to take a few of them on up out of here. Now, it's cool. I love my people. I'm one of us. I serve my country, so I'm an American. All right? I'm still a black man, though. And guess what? If I can swear an oath to protect the Constitution, whether it's a public thing or not, I can swear an oath to protect my people. Now, again, everybody ain't going to look at him as a hero. I see him as a hero. For me, for that man to love me enough, and he don't know me, ain't never met me, but he loved me enough to sacrifice his life for me, I can't do nothing but honor that man. Okay? I don't care what other people say about it. I can't do nothing but honor that man. That's a hero. You see, he didn't let society decide what he should do. He came to his own determination on how he can be a help to us. Point blank, period. All right. Now, I would say even myself, y'all, me doing the type of show that I do on a regular basis, even though my show, my stuff been hit a couple times, I done lost a few channels. I do what I believe is the important thing for me to do. Period. All right. I got it in my heart that what I do needs to be done. I didn't do it because I saw other people doing it. Okay. I didn't do it because, I'm looking at how everybody else is. I didn't even know spaces like this even existed on the internet because I didn't think about it. I just came, started doing the stuff I need to be done. Now, have I met a few people that seem to be doing some of the same type of stuff I do? I mean, yeah, I've seen people, I've found the quote unquote space and things like that. But I didn't even know people was doing this. Okay. I determined what needed to be done. And like any hero, I use the power that I have to do what I understand is the right thing to do. That's what heroes do. We don't wait for society to tell us how it's supposed to go. When you understand what the job is, You simply go do the job. That's what heroes do. And our society is making black men, okay, they're convincing black men to have fear about being a hero. We don't even want to label ourselves as heroes. Okay. Now, this is something I definitely want to get across because, I hear brothers, okay, like we even do the thing, shout out to Black Rule who said himself that, sometimes we got to, we got to be okay with being the villain. Now, I'm going to say I definitely understand where he comes from, but I don't think we should label ourselves as villains. Why would you do that? That's my thinking. Why would you label yourself as a villain? The hero makes enemies, but the hero is what other people should become. So no, I'm never going to be the villain. I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to do the right thing because I determine it's the right thing. Okay. Yes. Will somebody be inspired by something I do? Sure. Should they copy things that I do? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why would you live a life and you don't think nobody should copy that life? That's kind of crazy. There should be something about your life that you believe other people should copy. All right. If you don't believe that people should copy what you're doing in any real area in your life, then you're doing it wrong. Okay. Change. Okay. Change. Okay. You should see yourself as doing things that is worth copying for other people. All right. If you don't have that going on, just change. You don't have to be sitting there being ashamed. Just change. That's all. Do the stuff that you believe would be good for the world if other people copied you. And just do that stuff most of the time. All right. But in order to do that, you're going to make enemies. Because you're never going to live in a world where everybody's going to agree. And that's just the way it goes. Now, me as a person who believes in Christian stuff, y'all, yes, I read the Bible and I believe the stuff in it. Okay. So I do believe there was a guy named Jesus who came to the planet for the benefit of all people. Okay. He was looking out for the chosen people first, and we rejected him. And then he said, okay, well, I'm going to give this blessing to everybody. He didn't take the blessing back. He just said, I'm going to give it to everybody. First, it was for the chosen people, but the chosen people rejected him. He didn't say, no, I ain't going to give it to you. He said, no, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to just give it to others on top of you. Or people say, well, he came for the chosen people first. Cool. However you want to interpret it. The one guy who did look out for everybody in the human race, and I see what they did to him. Okay. Or I can tell you, I heard the stories. I've seen it. I understand what they said. I've heard all the different things and ways that they did Jesus. They spit on Jesus. All right. The guy who looked out for everybody, they spit on him. Literally spit on him. Okay. They mocked him. They put a crown of thorns on his head. They pierced him in the side. Now I understand everybody don't believe Jesus in Christianity, and I'm not even saying you have to. What I'm telling you is a man that determined he was going to be the hero and sacrifice himself for others. Guess what? He made enemies too. You cannot look out for people in this world and not make enemies. Just is what it is. But my enemies don't get to determine who I am. I determine who I am. That's just the way it goes. So guess what? I'm going to be the hero. Doesn't make a difference what you think about it. Doesn't make a difference how you feel about it. It doesn't make a difference of what you can come up with. I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I understand it's the thing I need to do. And I don't need your approval to do the thing I need to do. So just like I said, if I had a daughter and I come home and I get this information. Well, you know, the guy across the street, he keeps sexually assaulting your daughter. Are y'all sure? Is this really what's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to my daughter. Yeah, are we confirming that this is real? Okay, once we confirm it's real, I got to go handle my business. And I get it. People say, no, Roger, that's not the right thing to do. It may not be the right thing to do for you, but I got to protect my daughter. I got to do what I got to do, man. Okay? Man, they going to convict you if you do it. Hey, bro, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. See, I am not saying I'm going to have all the answers at all the right times. But what I will do is fight along the way. So I got to go be a hero regardless of how other people going to feel about it. Some people may cry. Well, you're going to get locked up, man. By the time we get you out, 20 years might pass. Okay, and that's my daughter. You think I wouldn't give 20 years for my daughter? Some of the stuff seemed crazy to me. Okay, I've said before. I remember one of the first times I said publicly that if somebody kidnapped my kid, I just kill the person who did it. I wasn't on my show. I was on somebody else's show. The responses I got was amazing to me. I'm going to say that. When I said that, the responses I got seemed amazing to me. And I was sitting there trying to figure out how could people be parents and wouldn't kill over their own child? That's amazing to me. Okay? I don't understand it. I don't even have kids. I understand you're supposed to do that for your own child. But hey, that's you. That's, I'm different. All right. The hero steps in the way when they don't even have to sometimes. That's true. And they force people to correct their situation. I understand that. And I think a lot of men, we say, well, you know what? I ain't doing all that. Guess what? If you're the hero, you get to determine what you're responsible for. There's people who want us to fight all kinds of fights that ain't got nothing to do. Matter of fact, there's one going on right now. Truth be told, there's a lot of people trying to get black men, especially, to come out and fight for illegal immigrants getting to stay in America. A lot of people want us to show up. All right. But see, I'm the hero. I'm sitting there like illegal immigrants. You want me to fight to keep an illegal immigrant in the country? An illegal immigrant gonna make I'm just saying from a general standpoint. Illegal immigrants keep wages down and keep housing prices up. Now, if y'all didn't catch that, let me just say it. Say it again. Illegal immigrants automatically keep wages down and housing prices up. Now, why would I fight for that? And somebody may be listening. They might be an illegal immigrant. And they may feel some type of way because I said that. But why would I fight for an illegal immigrant? We got to wait for people to come in and be legal. I understand you got to take some tests. You got to pass them. I don't know what else goes with it. I'm pretty sure some money goes with it. But I can't say it's wrong for a country to set their own parameters about who gets to come and be a part of their country. That don't make sense. So until America agrees to something else, I got to roll with that. So why would I fight for illegal immigrants to be here so they can keep wages down and keeping housing prices up? Now, they're not coming here to keep the wages down and housing prices up. That's not what they're here for. And I understand that. I ain't mad at them. I get it. You live in a place where it ain't so friendly to you. Okay. You live in a place that, bad things are happening. I understand why you want to leave that place. I'm not even tripping. I do understand it. But I do understand that at the end of the day, you're trying to make a move that's good for you. So am I mad at somebody for trying to come over here illegally? No, I'm not mad at them. Because I'm realistic. If I was in their position, I would probably do the same thing they did. Or there's at least a good chance of it. There's a good chance that if I'm in their position, there's a very good chance I would end up doing some of the same things that they would do. Because conditions will affect people's decisions. So I can't even say I'm mad at them. That doesn't mean I'm going to take their side, though. I got a team. I recognize what my jersey looked like. Real talk, y'all. I recognize what my jersey looked like. All right? So at the end of the day, I got to rock with my team. Is my team going to always be right? No, not per se. But I rock with my team. All right? So I ain't never came out here and say I don't like America. America do some shady stuff. Let's just keep that real. It's still my country, though. So I got to be for my country. It's not going to make me against any particular person, but I got to be for my country. Why? Because it's mine. I love it. It's the one I live in. It's the one I grew up in. All right? And I understand life ain't fair, which means I was lucky enough to be born here, while other people were not lucky enough to be born here. I'm going to say I was lucky enough to be born a black man, and there's other people that were not lucky enough to be born a black man. But there are other people who will say, well, being black is not the right thing to be born when you live in America. Hey, you can believe that if you want to. I wouldn't give mine up. Okay? I wouldn't do it. All right? But you got a right to determine things about yourself. But again, y'all, the hero is going to make their decision about what the right thing to do is. And whatever the hero comes up with, that's the move the hero going to make. And other people should copy. But I'm going to hold up real quick because we got the one, the only. I'm going to say one of the greatest panelists in all this here green earth. We got Black Uru Strikes is in the building. And you have the mic, my brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roger. I hope you're doing well. I hope the folks in the public chat are well. And I guess whoever might listen to this video in the future, I hope everyone's well. You kind of cited something I said about being the villain. I think I'm inclined to clarify my position there a little bit, although we probably will still disagree. And partly because I've seen so much of the use of this term hero and villain, and I've learned to some degree to, I guess, kind of divest myself from what I view to be kind of a false dichotomy, because it's just so situational, and it's you got two black men, one goes, they're both drafted to go to Vietnam. One goes and serves valiantly to the point in which maybe he becomes like a Silver Star winner or even a Congressional Medal of Honor winner. The other guy is against the war entirely, dodges the draft, maybe goes to Canada or whatever, and does so for conscientious, or take Muhammad Ali, who very famously rejected going into the military when he was drafted, and lost quite a bit in terms of money, and lost even some of his prime boxing years. I think Ali paid a lifetime price for what happened to him for disagreeing to being going into the military. So, which of the same situation, two very different, opposite decisions, Which of those men are heroes?
Is that
Which
a
of those
question
two
to be
men are
asked?
heroes? I think it's a very obvious question.
I mean,
It's not a rhetorical question. It's not a rhetorical question. I'm asking you, which of those two men are heroes? One Congressional Medal of Honor winner, one refuses to sign up or refuses to go to the military after being drafted. Which of those two men are? It's 1969 or 1970 or whatever. Which of those two men are heroes?
I mean, if I could only pick one, I'll start with Muhammad Ali. If I could only pick one, because he did what he
Why would you
determined.
start with Muhammad Ali?
Because he
I mean,
did
one
what
guy
he.
you said, oh, but you just said this is your country, and you're an American. You're a good American. And what did that brother, the first brother, did? He did what a good American does. He was drafted. He went and fulfilled his duty. He valiantly fought in that white man's war. How is he any less a hero than Ali?
Well, I don't think he isn't. I think that when the man determines he's doing what he thinks is the right thing, and he actually goes and does it, that makes him a hero. So I wouldn't look at either one of them as unheroic.
But
They
you're an
both did what
American.
they thought was the right
You're
thing.
an American. You're an
But as
American. You just said, hold on. You just said this stuff about this being your country and you love it. You said you love your country, and your country decided that you should go and fight in the jungles of Vietnam. That's what your country decided. Is it not? Is it? How can it be heroic to not do that based on the criteria that you just cited here?
because I also believe that the country is not going to always do the right thing, and you know, if the country is in the wrong and you decide you're going to do the right, then that's going to make you a hero. Period. Now if you agree with the country, that's one thing. Now, if you don't agree with the country, you can't serve the country that you don't agree with, at full stop. And then I'm saying you're a hero. You may be a hero to others, but are you a hero to yourself? And to me, you got to be a hero to yourself first.
I mean, it's again. This is why, and I'll let the other brothers reset speak. This is why I kind of pull back from this whole. Like I said, to me, it's kind of a false dichotomy of hero villain. I think it's all situational. I think many, if not most, of the greatest black men were at some point labeled to be somebody else's villain. And that's MLK was some folks' villain, and some of them folks were even black folks. Malcolm X was somebody's villain. Many of those folks at some point were black people. Muhammad Ali was considered to be a villain. Many of those folks at some point were black people. So, the greatest of us have at some point been labeled villains, even by our own. And so it's for that reason I'm just, like I say, I'm circumspect about the whole argument of hero and villain. So, but I'll end my opening statement there. Apologies for belaboring the point.
And shout out to Lorenzo Jones. I get to this in a moment. I'm gonna let the Great Black Reset get his opening statement in real quick, and then I'll deal with this. I do see this, just so you know. Great Black Reset, you got the flow, my brother.
Hey, how you doing, fellas? Black Uru, man, I tell you, I love you like a second father I ain't never had, man. I swear I do. I think God sent me and Black Uru here to make sure that we keep you under control, sir. That is our job in life.
Y'all
I
gonna have
believe.
quite the battle. Y'all
I
gonna have
see.
quite the battle.
I see. We enjoy it. It's a labor of love, and brother, it's very laborious. um, about the subject, I'm in agreement with Uru. I saw what he did there, and I'm in complete agreement. I think the problem that we have as black men in this country, some of us, is this authoritarianism. It is the bane of our existence sometimes. The whole, going back to NWA, the F the police attitude that has permeated in our existence. It is it is um, it is a hindrance to us. Most of us are God fearing folk, and even in the good book, it says we're supposed to submit ourselves to the authority, and it says that God has put these people into positions of authority for various different reasons. It's just like the president. It doesn't matter if Kamala Harris had became the president. I probably would dislike it, but I would not want her to be a loser, so to speak. I would have to support her because she would be the president. We might not like the cops individually that are the cops in our neighborhoods, but we need to find a way to be supportive of them because they are the authority. And no matter what we do, it's not going to change that they're the authority. Michael's dead. He killed 5 cops. He's dead himself. How does that benefit his family? How does that benefit his friends? That doesn't benefit the people that he proclaims to love at all. That's why we had the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings of the world. When they saw that there was an issue, they got out there and they made things happen on a civil level to get laws changed and things like that. Those are the type of things that we need to be doing. We need to be using our minds, not our muscles, to make change. But this anti-authoritarianism, it's not going to work, bro. It's not going to work. We have to be smarter than that. We have to be wiser than that. And we have to rise above our nature to be combative and to create chaos because we don't like a thing. And I'll end my play there.
All right. Now, shout out to Terenzo Jones. I said I would come back to this. He says, does oneself claim to be a hero or is oneself appointed to be a hero by others? Now, I'm going to say both can happen. You can claim to be a hero. Anybody could do that. Anyone pretend upon what they're doing could be appointed to be a hero by others. But the first determinator is yourself. If you're a hero, you're going to do what you determine the right thing is first. Because there's people who would deny someone else trying to appoint them as a hero if they don't agree with it, such as Muhammad Ali. All right. Technically, if we want to be real about it, people who go off and fight in wars, when they come back victorious, we see them as heroes. That's what they wanted Muhammad Ali to do, literally. He said, no, I don't agree with that. I disagree with it so much, I will not participate. Now, I can't look at that man doing what he determined is the right thing to do and say he's not a hero, regardless of the stuff that was in front of him. Yeah, he had to pay a toll for making that decision, just like any other man would have to pay a toll for making that decision. Now, the other men that do it, they're not going to be as rich as Muhammad Ali. They're not going to be as public as Muhammad Ali. They won't be talked about as much as Muhammad Ali. But at the end of the day, they still end up doing the same thing. Now, can I determine some man who refused to participate in something that he was so against that he went and served prison time silently? Because America don't even know his name. And America didn't even care he served it. Can I say that man's not a hero? To me, that sounds crazy. If he that against it, he ain't supposed to participate. And if he's willing to accept what come with not participating or how he got to deal with it. Because there's some people who quote unquote fled to Canada, as they say. No, he left Canada because my country is on some mess, and I don't want to be a part of this no more. And if you telling me I got to die for something I vehemently disagree with, I don't want to represent this country anymore. So people say, well, they fled it. No, they left. And I can't say they're wrong for leaving.
So you should only die for your country for something you believe in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't believe
Okay,
it, watch out
all
for
right.
it.
Man, this is my truth stuff.
But is your country, and you love your country, is your country. You love your country. Your country is your home. Your country is the home of your family. The country is the home of your ancestry. You know, so the country ain't just about your own personal decisions. The country is
Okay,
about a
my
whole
girl,
lot of
I
stuff
got
that
something for
happened
that.
before you. Hold on now, brother. Let me finish here. The country ain't just about you and you living right now. Country's about all the people that came before you, all the decisions that were made before you, all the investments that were before you, all the sacrifices that were made before you. It ain't just about you. You know, this world ain't just about you being in it at any point in time. A lot of people, a lot of men, brave men, we are here to talk and run our mouths right now because of some men that got blown apart somewhere in, Vietnam or Okinawa or, somewhere in North Africa or whatever, or Gettysburg, the Massachusetts 54th. Most of those brothers didn't even come back from trying to take that fort in South Carolina. They got blown to bits by cannon fire. Some of them even had families. This whole business where everything just starts with you and what you want to do, that's not what make up a country. That's not what make up a people. A lot of people have made decisions, terrible decisions, about their own life for something other than what they thought was for them and for their benefit at any point in time. When you talk about this whole business of whether or what a hero is, there's a lot of heroes end up dying for some shit they had no thought or even a notion about. 16, 17, 18-year-old boys getting blown to bits and was never even got any pussy in their life. That's what history is really made of. It ain't made up of us just having to make our own individual choices. It's a lot of terrible choices that have been made for other men, braver men, better than us, and they went on ahead and done it anyway.
Okay, well, see, I ain't gonna disagree with that. It's not just about you as an individual, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you do have to have some form of agreement with something that you're going to be a part of. And if someone vehemently disagrees with something, that's not their fight. And if they go to that fight when they vehemently disagree with it, all they're going to do is cause problems. And that's just, that's a reality that we have to face too. I can't fight beside you when you ain't with me. That puts me in jeopardy. Regardless of what the collective is trying to do. If you're not with the collective, you would jeopardize the collective. So you don't need to be there. I'm going to say shout out to Terenzo Jones. He says one is either a hero or a villain in someone else's book. Yet oneself is both in their own book. Which book does a reader read? And I think, Terenzo, that's a great question. But to me, the most important book is the one you write for yourself. That's going to be the most important because that's the one you got to live and die with. And that's just the reality of being a part of this type of world. You got to live and die with your own book. But usual business, go ahead, and then we'll get what's the name today? Pink Toast dipped in watermelon in next. Usual business, go ahead. You on mute, man, if you don't know it.
I'll take it 2 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, usual business going once, usual business going twice. He might have went to the bathroom. That's what happened. I'm gonna say that. Uh,
He in Uganda. He in Uganda. That's
yeah,
what's going on.
we'll
What's
come
up?
back
My
to
bad.
it.
I'm here, bro. I'm here. My bad. My bad. My bad.
Oh boy, you about to lose it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to go handle some business. I'm just going to explain this in a variety, in a few phrases, right? Um, I think we kind of be. What is the title? It's not be your own hero. Or is it be your own?
Black men afraid to be heroes.
Mm, to be a hero. If I'm American, if I understand the word correctly, is somebody who does extraordinary things in the times of great need for people that he wants to save. That is the functional definition of a hero, correct?
I mean, that a hero would do those things. I mean, that ain't the only function that I think that's included. I would say that I think that's very much included.
Okay, all right.
But I'll look up the
Well,
definition just for sake of. Go ahead.
yeah. I actually want the definition first. Like, I really want to really before I give my answer on that.
You just get the definition before you
Okay, hold on, my bad. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a
start.
second.
This,
Give me a
this,
second. Give me a second.
he want Roger to do more homework than he already did. He gonna come and change up the show. No. Your definition wrong. We gonna use another word.
Okay. Hold on. My bad. My bad.
God,
I got it.
the
I got it.
audacity of these niggas from Atlanta.
My bad. Hold on. A hero is a person who is admired or idolized for courage, outstanding achievement, or nobility qualities, or noble qualities. I'm sorry. No, yeah, noble qualities. Should black men be their own heroes? Yeah. Necessarily, every man should quote unquote look up to themselves for their own well being, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't look up for yourself to quote unquote accomplish your own mission, no one else is going to help you do it. So that's just based off the definition of what the hero is. Yeah, black men are their own heroes. They need to be their own heroes, and that's the only quote unquote person that you need to look up to. You can take inspiration from other men, but at the end of the day, just like I think I can't remember what was cartoon it was, but I think it was a alternate universe where Superman and Lex Luthor were working together, right? And he was fighting the evil Superman, and then Lex Luthor told basically, the good Superman, "Hey, bro, if it's gonna mean anything necessarily after you leave, it gotta be me who beat this man necessarily. Because once you go, I gotta stay. I gotta stay here." Basically, he even said, "Hey, bro, if it gonna mean something to after you leave, but it got to be me the one to handle this problem, fix this problem, and do and so on and so on and so on." So, yeah, you should look to yourself to be your own hero, and if you don't, then you are truly quote unquote lost. But I'm just gonna say that and leave it there.
Okay. Now we got the Ivy League who done stepped in. So Uncle Sam will screw you. You got the mic. Go ahead, my brother.
First, I want to say shout out to everyone who served in the armed forces. Seriously, thank you for your service. And without you, America would be a different place. And you have my utmost respect. Now, when it comes to black men being afraid to be heroes, I think maybe my history was different from what your history was because I remember Malcolm X trying to save his own people, and his own people shot him on stage. I remember Martin Luther King trying to save his own people, and his own people tried to shank him. I remember Nat Turner. Well, I wasn't there, but I remember seeing Nat Turner in the movie trying to get his people out of a situation, and his own people snitched on him. And I remember Bill Cosby talking about we need to do better, raising our children, and black people went apeshit on him and didn't support him during his trials. So are black men really scared to be heroes, or have black men learned? Are black men really scared to be heroes, or black men understand that when you help your own, they half of them are going to attack you for helping. Or when you help your own, it's a labor of love without support. So maybe it's not about being afraid. Maybe it's just they learned something. And I'll rest the mic there.
All right, we got one more. Pink toes dipped in watermelon. Go ahead, my brother.
Happy Tuesday to everybody.
Happy Tuesday, brother.
I don't believe that we as black men are afraid to be heroes. Yes, many of us did the right thing, and in response, they dipped on us, they spat on our name. For example, look at this simp hero who who's just a quote unquote boyfriend who dealt with this woman through sickness. She had frontal lobe surgery. He had to wipe her dirty rear end. And she went on stage and talked about how much she felt unappreciated. That man for her was supposed to be her hero. That's her Superman right there. And instead of praising him, she was looking for a reason to dip out on him. The other guy took this baby mama, this demonic baby mama, took her in, and is currently taking care of her and her children, paying all the bills. Despite her claiming that she makes more than him, she still feels like she's more than him. He's beneath her. And he's talking about he's not ambitious enough. We had a hero. He was telling the truth to them hoes every night. And when he finally passed away, they celebrated his death like it was the second coming of Jesus. They made his death day a celebration. Until this day, they are still dumping on his grave. Save yourself, black man. Fuck being a hero.
I'm gonna say well said. Illustrates a lot of things here. But I'm gonna read the super chat real quick. Shout out to my main man Afro Merchant, my hero. uh, he says, R.I.P. Jesse Jackson. Hashtag support black men media. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Now, did Jesse Jackson die? I ain't heard nothing about that.
I don't remember
Yeah,
him
he died
passing away.
last night. He died last night.
What?
He died last night.
Oh,
What?
okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard. Okay,
Yeah.
well, rest in peace to Jesse then.
How old was he? How old was he?
He had to
He
be in
probably in
Eighty-four.
the
his
70s. Close to 80, I would
75.
think.
Yeah, he had to be
How
in his
old?
mid 70s.
He was
On the
84.
'Whoa,
74.
man.
He's
Yeah.
84.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he was around with King, so you know. Well, shout out to Jesse for whatever good he did. He did do something good. That's for sure. I got I got some stuff. I ain't gonna even get on Jesse right now, but shout out to Jesse and his
Well,
family.
I mean, Jesse's an interesting figure to mention in the context of hero,
Yeah,
because to a lot of
yeah.
people, Jesse was a hero. To a lot of people, Jesse was a villain. And to a lot of people, him becoming he was at some point their hero, then became their villain. And to some people, he was their villain and then became their hero.
Yeah.
And he was very necessary. He was very necessary, regardless of how you feel about him. He was necessary. I think we should be more interested in being righteous, upright, and living our lives to be blameless than whether we are seen as heroes or not.
No, I, I I think that's what heroes do, and they do not worry about how other people are going to categorize them. And because the thing is, why does the hero do the things that he do? The hero doesn't do it for worship. The hero does because they determine it's right. Somebody looking to take advantage of people, they may do it because they worried about how people gonna look at it, what people gonna see. Am I gonna be able to get a financial advantage here and there? Now, the heroes do stuff because they believe it's the right thing to do. And that's why I say if a man went to Canada, you know what I'm saying, because he disagrees with the war that much, that he's willing to give up his own citizenship for it, can I say he wrong for doing that?
No.
I would understand, but I would say he's wrong because he's abandoning the same country that he professes to love. He's abandoning his friends and family and all. It's like Uru said, it's not just about the individual. It is not just about the individual.
I really want to ask a question to this. I really want to ask a question. I think we mixing words, hero and quote unquote, but the word hero, right? But the word we really should be using is soldier and warrior, because a warrior necessarily fights for a warrior fights for what he believes it to be the correct thing. A soldier just goes and fight for wherever somebody tells him to go fight and die at. Right. So if I'm what I'm saying, if I'm a warrior, right, if somebody quote unquote telling me, hey, you use your business, go to Nigeria and slaughter all the Nigerians, then go from there, then go to quote unquote the Jamaican, and then do the same thing to all the Jamaicans. Me, I'm a warrior. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a soldier. Thus is the difference. I fight for what I believe to be the necessary, right? Not what somebody tells me is necessary. What I believe to be necessary. Which is the difference between a soldier and a warrior. And a hero is kind of necessarily in between a little bit, because they, depending on who you're talking to. But one man soldier is enough.
When we're talking about a hero, we're talking about
we can't.
We're not.
We can barely hear you. You got to get closer to your mic, bro.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little better now, bro.
All right,
yeah,
so
your mic was all jacked up, bro.
But is it okay now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, all right, cool. So when we're talking
no
about
better
when we're talking about a hero, we're talking about a situational. We're not really talking about because it sounds like duty versus patriotism, right? Like do you have a country that's like patriotism. But when we're talking about heroes, we're talking about things like Ben
Is it
Hur,
just me?
or we're talking about things like Ben Hur or Goku in Dragon Ball. We're talking about things where there's a situation and you need to decide what you're going to do in these situations. And a lot of times when your people are oppressed, are you going to go to help? Or when people are distressed in an abandoned building that's on fire, do you rush in with disregard of self-preservation to help other people? That's really what heroism is about. It's about people versus self-preservation, right? That's what heroism is really about. And to say that black men are afraid of it, I kind of disagree, because when it comes down to helping the people that are in distress, for some reason we are in a very precarious situation, because the people we help, the people that are distressed, end up killing the hero. And that doesn't happen for other groups of men, right? Because when we talk about heroism and stories like the Odyssey, right, and Ulysses, right, self-preservation, disregard of self-preservation, going back to his family over helping his fellow soldiers get home and things of that nature. And I think that black men did that, but when the people you're helping are now the people that's trying to harm you, then the calculus change.
Now, I do think
we're ignoring that. Big time we're ignoring that.
Well, can I get my 2 minutes in before y'all go all the way away from this subject?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right. How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Shout out to Uru, Dark Vader. Chosen the boy man, my boy Hot Sauce.
Wait a minute, who's Darth Vader?
I'm done.
Who's
I'm done,
Vader?
baby.
I think
Don't
everybody
nobody
know
do me like
who
You
that.
know,
he is.
okay.
I think everybody know who he is.
You know what I mean? I was listening. I was doing some stuff, so I couldn't really get in on the beginning and everything. But I was listening, and I got two things. With everything Hot Sauce said, my bad, Hot Sauce. I can't see the name right now because I got my joint in my pocket.
Uncle Sam will screw you. Uncle
But
Sam will screw
but everything you said is absolutely correct. And when you listen to what you said with a sound mind, I have to ask, do you niggas deserve a hero? Because
you. There it is.
for every hero we had, we treat him like garbage. And like as far as the Muhammad Ali being a hero thing, I don't look at Muhammad Ali as a hero because he didn't change anything. He just didn't go to war. Like, so how are you a hero if you're not changing something? Like that Hancock reference you gave, when Hancock cut that man's hand off with the bomb, with the detonator in it, he changed something. He stopped some people from getting hurt. So I just want to say people need to really look at that way. You talk about being heroes and this and that. Black people don't even deserve a hero right now. Everybody that comes around, my theory is Jesus has been reborn many a times, and every time he was reborn, we looked at him like he was stupid. You had Malcolm X, you had Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Huey, Fred Hampton, and what did we do? We don't even talk about these people. Period. Until it's a February, and even in February, we don't talk about him. So, do you deserve a hero?
Hell no. Hell no.
Now I'm gonna say, now see, this is the thing. Who did the hero do it for? The hero don't do it for somebody to praise them. The hero does what they believe is the right thing to do based on whatever the situation happens to be. So
That
the
is not
hero's making his own decision about being hero. It's not waiting on other people to determine whether what he does will be viewed as heroic or not. It
no, but
does
that's
not.
not
No, we
that,
got to take the praise out
hold
of
on,
it.
hold on.
If the
No,
hero
but
was
wait,
trying to tell y'all get out the
that's not the
building because
definition.
it's burning, my bad. Go do your thing, Hot. My fault.
No, that's not the, like when we talk about hero, it's self-preservation or the benefit for the group. It's not about looking for fame, fortune, clout, or anything like that. It's a situation. So, for example, civil rights. I'm going to fight for civil rights for because my people are oppressed, and I'm going to disregard my self-preservation and even my family's self-preservation. I'm getting crosses burned on the lawn, bricks thrown through the window, me getting hanged. The church where my daughter and wife go can get burnt. Right? I'm gonna disregard those self-preservation for the good of the group.
Okay, so but I'm saying the hero does what they think is right anyway. Yeah,
Exactly.
that may put him in jeopardy. The hero understands that because the moment you become a hero, you make enemies.
Right.
Yeah,
So but
exactly.
the point
The
is, but
word, these words are using them wrong. That's the problem.
but the point is what Shark is saying, we're not having an honest conversation right now. We keep going back. Well, he doesn't care about that. No, do black people deserve it?
No,
We can have an
I'm not.
honest conversation about that.
That's again, it's
I
the
don't
wrong
think.
question.
I don't think anybody even said.
No, I don't think nobody deserves their heroes. No group of people deserve their hero. The whole point of being a hero is being willing to do what is right and may require some potential sacrifice or bravery for the sake of doing the thing. When when Superman saves the earth, he's saving both good people and bad people, both heroes and villains.
Well, Superman doesn't
You
exist.
don't make a
Yeah,
you
but
don't make
Superman
a
don't exist.
but I'm saying you don't make no hero makes any sort of qualifying argument about who is worthy or who is not worthy. They tend to have their own sense of morality about what needs to be done and leave to God essentially what to be made of.
Well, let me
No, I
ask you this
disagree.
Their
question.
own sense,
Hold
though.
on.
Main
Let me,
word.
Uru, let me ask you this question. Do the community deserve for you to jump out the window and leave your family and your daughters and your grandchildren unattended for the duration of their life? Do you see that? Do you see this
Well,
the way we are operating now as a cause for you to say, you know what, this is for the people? Or do you say, you know what, these suckers is wilding out, and I just got to make sure my you know what I mean, the family that you have. I don't want to say your business. I don't know all that, but you
well, look,
understand the family
I
that you
don't.
have in the church.
I think most so-called heroes, especially those who make the ultimate sacrifice, they have an idea about how things should be, and that idea about how things should be prevail over even the circumstances that they're in. I don't think Dr. King necessarily made a value assessment of black people as to whether or not they're worthy. It's like, I'm a black man. This has happened to my people historically, and regardless of how fucked up the folks are in Memphis or Birmingham or whatever. And I'm sure he knew a lot of those, and I'm sure he was very aware of a lot of the treachery amongst other black people. I know he was aware of all of that. But in spite of that, he had a particular idea about what the future was supposed to yield, and he even acknowledged the probability that he would not even benefit from that future. And the only thing he had was the hope that maybe his children would.
No, I disagree because you got people like Constantine, right? You got people like Alexander the Great. You got people like Caesar. They made that nigga a god,
Y'all
right?
using the word wrong. That's the problem.
No, 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 no,
That
no.
is the
What
problem.
I'm saying, like people, people who are people who have faced oppression that disregarded their self-preservation to help lead their country out of oppression or war or occupation, whatever. Haile Selassie, right? Italian Haile Selassie, who led his people to fight under man, under technology against the Italians and won. And look at how his people treat him and his children and his children's children. And then look
Exactly.
how like Haile Selassie is a perfect example, right?
And look
He
and
fought
look
the
at how we
under
treated Malcolm X's children, Martin
right.
Luther King's children. Like
Exactly. I mean,
come on.
the thing about a hero is the how do the people see them, right? I think that's
And
why I
that
actually
is
asked
and
for the definition. Is
you're
how do the
answering our
people
question for
themselves see them? Like
and
if you judge this person to be a hero, you protect this
But
person in name and in honor
but
necessarily for the fault
but
that they did or the deeds that they did.
the
we don't do
view
that as a
of
people.
whether or what to what degree a Malcolm X is a hero, man, that has changed so many times over the
Exactly.
what 60
And
years
for me,
since he died. So you can't even really definitively assert any positive or negative view about it because it's changed so much since
No,
over that you're talking about virtually three generations of people who come and went and who mostly come and went and they have viewed Malcolm X. Even white people view Malcolm X very differently than they did 60 years ago. So
and
you,
that's
you
what I'm
can't
saying.
just say because of what at any fixed point in time what people thought or felt about a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, that should be the sum total of how their legacy should be viewed.
No,
That's
no,
going to
no. I'm not
change
talking.
over time.
that's not what we said.
That
That's not what we
I'm
and
talking
said.
that's
like
the problem, Uru. You look at
That's
Jesus
not what we
people.
said.
Those people that look at Jesus, they ain't never changed their view on them. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and them guys, they did stuff for the betterment of people. And now we got people talking
Exactly.
about Martin Luther King was a misogynist and he was cheating on it. Like those things ain't even supposed to be talked about off
Well,
the
right.
well,
basis
well,
of that's
well,
our
hold on,
hero and he
hold
helped
on. We
change the
we
lives
cannot
and betterment of people.
we also cannot regard them as a real thing. That no one's ever proven it. It was somebody made something up. And it's never been proven. So we shouldn't be talking about it, especially in public, as if it's real.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it was talked about. It was
No, no,
brought
no.
up,
I
which
get what you're
shows
saying, but
disrespect.
the
Yeah.
way you just
But
said it, you said it like it was a real thing that happened.
No, no. The fact that
but
you
even
talking
that
about it,
that
the
talk
fact that
is
you brought
mostly
that
a function of it's mostly a function of a community of people who have been grossly negatively affected by the circumstances that have happened this last 60 years. I mean, the breakdown of black families and black communities, black churches, in an environment in which all those institutions have eroded. The respect, unfortunately, for an MLK to some degree has eroded with that. I came into a world, or when I was a child, you couldn't walk. Shit, the first time you walk in the house, you saw a big portrait of Dr. King as you were walking into most black folks' house. You see it right next to Jesus Christ, although it would be white
Jesus.
Jesus Christ, that which
Well,
tells you
you
nothing.
know what they don't
But,
do, like
but, but,
no,
Everybody,
no. That proves the
everybody,
point,
hold
though.
on.
That literally proves our point.
but
That literally
Everybody
proves
hold
our point.
on.
my
Everybody
It
my
hold
literally
on.
my
proves our point.
point my
Everybody hold
point
on.
is
Hold on. Ron just trying to get in.
because
Ron
of the
just trying to say
change.
something.
I just want to put a point on just because of the change in the society, because of other issues, that unfortunately has also negatively impacted how some people communicate, the legacy of Dr. King.
No, that's
Okay.
I have
I
to.
could agree. I could agree.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me get this in, and then you got the flow next because you are Ivy League. Juan Lake says, I personally took the initiative to fight every, I think he meant every single case of discrimination because no one cared. All they did was stand there and watch. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Juan Lake. That's a hero. He determined what needed to be done, and he did it anyway, regardless of the reaction of the people. The hero is not trapped in reactions. The hero is trapped within his own morals. That's what makes them a hero. The reaction of the people to his heroism is not his main concern, if a concern at all. But
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 see,
uh, go ahead.
but see, this is where, like, this is where we're kind of romanticizing things, and we're kind of like sidestepping the situation.
Hold on one second. Uh, Intuit X, I guess that's how you pronounce the name. I see you backstage. Your signal is not strong enough for me to put you on the air. Try turning your phone off and on, and then more than likely that'll help where I can actually get you on air. I see you backstage, but your signal is not strong enough for me to bring up. You should be able to hear me right now. So reset your phone, come back, and we'll make something happen from there. All right, go ahead, brother.
So when we look at universally agreed upon FBA heroes, all of them had to fight the very people they were trying to save. When you
Hmm.
look outside of the community, we don't have that. And that's the fact that what we're talking about are black men afraid. Mao Zedong didn't have to deal with that. You go to China and talk about Mao Zedong, you're getting arrested. Go to Thailand and talk about the king, you're getting arrested. Fidel Castro in Cuba, go talk there, you're going to go missing, right? Because at the end of the day, when they were leading their own people out, their own people weren't trying to harm them, and that's something distinctly African American.
Amen.
No, no,
Okay, hold on.
whoa.
You're leaving out some very important information. How many people did
Yeah,
Mao had to kill before he got control over everything? He probably had to kill
Well,
100
yeah.
million people
look.
minimum.
Well, look. We're not talking about the process. We're just talking about the result, my
No,
brother.
no, you don't want to talk about the process because it doesn't support your argument. No,
No,
we
and
live,
hold on, hold
we,
on.
How many?
we,
Y'all,
we,
y'all
live.
gotta be, y'all gotta be genuine about
How
what.
many people did Castro? How many people did Castro then have to kill or chase up out of Cuba?
A good
How
Again,
amount
many?
too.
we're not mentioning the
But
process.
Y'all look at the word wrong. Y'all keep saying the word, but y'all using it wrong.
No,
The
no, no.
hero. Hold on,
Usual.
come on, no, no.
Wait. Usual business. I was on top of you as soon as you came in. I told you were gonna try to change the name. I knew you was doing that. I knew you was doing that right from the beginning. No, we're not doing that. And this knucklehead over here, he the Ivy League. You should know better. We ain't finna change the parameters just cause you want to. No, we finna talk about this process. They was killing folk. People pay attention
They
when you
don't.
kill folk.
Yo,
No, I understand that. No, I
black
actually
reset,
understand everything you're saying.
black reset. Who cares? They
No,
got
no,
the,
I
the
look at it
result that
different.
they need. The result that they
But
needed to
but
come
but
about came about.
That's
we're
not true.
not
Now,
disagreeing. We're not disagreeing with the process. The problem is when you make a comparison without including all of the details about within both sides of that comparison, then it's a fallacious comparison. Dr.
Well, okay.
King was not inclined to or motivated. Hold on. Dr. King was not inclined to or motivated to kill up enough black folks in order for them to then be too scared to say anything about him. He would have had to kill up enough black folks for them to shut their mouths. He didn't do
Okay.
that.
Okay. I will sorta see your point about niggas didn't die like that. All right. I will sorta see that, but
That's the best. That's the
still,
best we gonna get from that nigga.
still,
You're damn right about that. That's groundbreaking. This is groundbreaking right now. Y'all know that, right? This is literally
Yes.
groundbreaking.
but still, well, cause he killed like a million dudes, dude. He killed like a million motherfuckers. So, like, okay. So, but Halasi didn't have to do that.
Yeah, Tucson.
Yeah, don't worry about the eggshells,
Think
niggas.
about Tucson. Tucson had to knock some heads off. Like,
Yeah.
hey, if it gotta happen for the betterment of everybody, it is what it is.
Oh, Shark,
If
Shark.
it's for the betterment of my people, then
Wait,
it
wait,
is what it is.
hold on, Shark,
Exactly, bro.
Shark. When I was cooking these niggas right quick, did you take any eggshells in that omelet I was serving?
You got busy on that
Listen,
one.
Did you take
listen.
any eggshells, my brother?
Nah.
We can't take Shark serious because the first thing he did was admit on open air that he agreed with you. So we can't take that nigga
Oh,
serious
here we go.
Oh,
after that.
but you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about
The
the
Empire
eggshells, nigga.
Strikes Back.
Don't worry about the eggshells, nigga. That's all I'm saying. If I was cooking and you didn't put no eggshells, then it was a good ass omelet. Shit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say this. Usual business. I don't think we're using the word wrong because is everything is not a fight situation where you're gonna physically be in the fight. There are plenty of people who were determined to be heroes in a non-fighting role. Okay,
I never said that.
well, I didn't say you said that. I'm just saying the reason we're using hero and not necessarily war or anything like that because fights are done in different ways. But I mean, even Dr. King never actually fought anybody. I mean, his whole premise was not fight. That was, which is why the white people who love him, that's one of the main reasons they love him because the whole thing was don't ever do anything to a white person back. And they love that idea. A lot of them. So
You know,
No,
Shark
y'all
says
understand what
something.
I'm trying to say. Y'all see the problem is y'all over talking because y'all thinking I'm not actually focused on what I'm saying. I'm actively really focused. What I'm telling you is, what is a hero? A person who is admired and idolized for courage, for outstanding achievement amongst himself and his people. His people, right? His people also have to do the due diligence of saying this is the person that we support, right? Like they got a picture of Martin Luther King and Jesus. That white man ain't never came down. Martin Luther King came down. Malcolm X came down, but that white man never came down, right? In the eyes of most people, or eyes of, let's say, a lot of Black Americans, right? But then you go down to, let's say, Jamaica, or you go down to, let's say, quote unquote, what to do that, Halasi or whatever. They revere that man. They revere that man. See what I'm saying? Even to this day, they still wear that man's flag. See what I'm saying? A hero truly dies when he physically dies, and he dies in the mind, the heart, and the mind of his people. The problem is Black people necessarily in America don't want to uphold our own heroes. That is the problem. That's what I've been trying to say to people now.
Well, there's a through line there. You are correct. There's a through line there. Our heroes don't kill people, so they don't elicit the type of fear that allows them that staying power in their legacy. These other folk are killing people. This makes people loyal, whether you like it or not. I'm telling you, bro. I'm an imperialist. I'm for the people that's winning, that's willing to do what it takes to win.
Well, but see, everybody says that. Everybody says that
Who
until
did Jesus kill? Matter of fact, he was raising people from the dead. They hurry up and put him on the cross.
but my point is everybody was like, yeah,
He in line?
we will support, but yeah, but we keep saying we will support these people that's off other people. What if that person want to off you?
So what? What's the problem? If you're a trader, you get deleted. What's the problem?
Exactly.
You betrayed the cause.
Cap,
You no,
cap.
hey. Don't swag jack me. Thank you. You betrayed the cause. You paid the cost. What's the
You
problem?
pay the
You and
cost.
your matter of fact, not just you and your whole family. We're
That's
talking about real business right now.
so you telling me if this guy who came a leader want to kill you and your family, you're just gonna be like, well, whatever.
If I betray the cause, yes.
The cause,
Doesn't
right?
does
If I'm
does
on his cause,
doesn't mean that I will not try to defend myself. But
No,
I
but
betrayed the
if
cause.
this
I am in. Hey. Don't swag jack me. Thank you. If I
what?
betrayed the cause and I hereby forfeit my life, yes, that's the price to pay.
Well,
And you're not gonna change my mind about that.
I think you gotta understand.
Y'all want nice results, but y'all don't want to do the dirty job.
No, but I think you need to read a little bit more about history. Like for example, when Alexander the Great was coming into
Yeah.
becoming king, right? He had opposing people. No one tried to portray him, but everybody had the idea that they could lead Greece. So he had to kill the opposing people who also wanted to help and lead Greece, right? So you don't have to be a traitor. A lot of times people weren't traitors. You were just in the way.
All right. Well, let me say this from a realistic aspect. We got to take into account that people don't know what the outcome will be. The people
that
that
is also a fact.
history has determined were heroes, the person who did the work did not know what the outcome was going to be, which is why I said from Jump Street, the hero makes his own determination. Now, it may sound selfish.
Mhm.
It may sound like it ain't right. I'm just telling you, this is the reality. The hero decides what's moral amongst himself, okay,
Exactly.
or amongst this small group of people that he talked to. Then he does what he thinks is the right thing. Yo,
Same thing like a wolf.
Micah X may not be somebody's hero. He my hero because he died for me. He don't even know me, and he shot 11 cops over me. I ain't got nothing bad to say about that man. And I
He
never
my
will.
hero.
You know
He
what I'm
my
saying?
hero, bro.
Yo,
Malcolm
I
X is
want the
my
courage.
hero, bro.
I want the courage that man had. Real talk. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say something positive. I want the courage he had. He all 5 of them for me. And ain't never met me. I'm
I,
good with that.
I have
But
a small analogy, real quick.
after you, we got a new guest coming up. I see
Cool.
he in the back. So we got a new guest. We're gonna get him the floor after Great Black
Okay.
Reset.
Cool. In all of human history, the book that sells the most, even now today, is the Bible. The reason is, from the very beginning of the history of that book, God was killing people, and in that same book, Jesus Christ never killed nobody, raised people from the dead. They stole that nigga's identity, put him on the cross, and killed him. He ain't even Jewish no more. The man is white. If you ain't willing to kill somebody, they gonna forget about you. This is what it is, bro. That's the world we live in.
That's an
See,
interesting
but
viewpoint. That's a very
how does that argument? How does listen to what you said though? You said a man who never killed anybody, probably the most famous man who's ever lived, never killed anybody.
Right?
But then towards the end, you say if you never kill anybody, they're gonna forget about you. But
This
the
is what
guy
I'm.
who famously never killed anybody is the most famous guy who ever lived.
But listen, that man was born Jewish. And he looks very Italian on every picture you find of him. That's what I'm saying. The man was born Jewish. When
You see what he
there was
did to
no
himself? You see what
Absolutely.
y'all hear what he did
no.
to himself?
What you're
He's trying to fight it out right now because the dude was black. You know he blended in with the African people, right?
I I told you they stole his identity.
bro. Black Guru checkmated me, bro.
And another, while I'm doing historical corrections, let me correct the great hot sauce. Alexander was the son of King Philip. So
Yes.
by virtue, anybody who did what he did, he was his heir. So by
Yes.
virtue of any his bloodline, if anybody didn't do what he say, they were committing treason.
No. But see, what you were forgetting, when we're forgetting, Greece wasn't unified when Alexander the Great was during Alexander time.
Yeah, but there were Macedonians that
Right,
betrayed
right,
him. There were
right.
Macedonians. There were people of his own court who betrayed him. They definitely
But
committed treason.
but
In
no.
fact, when he died, it was the Macedonians who killed him and then took everything from him after he died.
See,
Now
you
that
like to
is true, bro.
rearrange. You like to rearrange things. I said when he was coming of power, he had to face other oppositions because Greece wasn't unified. I'm not talking about when he died. I'm talking about before Greece was unified. He unified Greece and Europe, right?
Well, see, now my question, I do
No,
have a
no,
hot
no,
side. I do have one
I
question.
hope we got another guest here.
Well,
But
we
I'm
gotta get
saying
the new.
We got
it was the
another guest
people who
here.
were closest to him, the Macedonians, who took him out. But go ahead.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking
Yeah.
about his rise to power. We're talking about two different things.
We,
Okay,
we,
All right.
we
we
gotta get
And
we
the
gotta
problem is,
get we
what's the
gotta get the
problem?
new
we
we gotta
we're
get the
talking about
new
two
guy
different
in,
things,
man.
y'all. It was two different things.
And,
I
and
can
Hot
accept
Sauce
it.
met his quota. He already admitted one time he was wrong. He ain't gonna do it again. Let's go.
All
That
right, look,
one per
Okay,
year,
my
bro.
bad.
We get it one
y'all.
per year.
Let me get this new guy in correct how to say the name if I'm saying it wrong. Is it Intuit or X or how you pronounce your name? So we'll know. He's on the panel. Intuit X, are you on mute? See, I felt good about this guy. I didn't feel no troll vibes. Look, if y'all come up to the show and y'all don't talk
Can
when
you
we
hear
say
me
talk,
now?
oh,
He's talking. He's talking.
okay, here we go. I heard
Can
something.
can can anybody hear me?
Okay, we hear you now. Okay, we hear you now. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay.
Welcome to
I
the
just
show,
want to
brother.
say,
Welcome to the show.
okay, I've been following it. I want to say hello to all the gentlemen out there, and just want to give all you guys props about talking about some difficult issues, and sometimes I've been wanting to come here. I'm really new to this YouTube thing, so there's been times I've been wanting to get on here, but this issue just kind of pulled me in a little bit. I don't know what the age group of most of the people here. I'm Gen X. I'm upward towards 60, and I'm hearing a lot of things. Not that I disagree with anything that anyone out here is saying about a hero, but being a hero, I believe a lot of us black men are already heroes in our own name, and we have been. We're up against a lot of different issues in our community. Talking about being a hero. I mean, when we look at like something like drugs. Drugs have been in our neighborhood for going on almost 4 decades. I mean, you want to talk about taking drugs out of our neighborhood. At some point, you got a trap house living down the street from you, or you got somebody who's selling drugs in your neighborhood. At what point do you decide to go down there and stop that? I mean, you know, we have measured at some point in our community to be able to look the other way because we don't have the power. You know, the other issue about being a hero, we all have that thing that's inside us that wants us to be a hero, but it also have to bring up the issue of bravery. And coming together as brothers to be able to stop an issue like drugs in our neighborhood. We all agree that you can live down the street from somebody who's selling drugs. But how many of us are going to walk into that house and is going to sacrifice our own home that's doing the right thing, when we go down there and we think we're gonna, remove drugs from our community. We have codes that we talk about as black people. Don't be a snitch. Being the hero. When do you go out and tell somebody or tell a woman, you need to put some clothes on? That's being a hero in itself. Put some clothes on. Standing for it. Sometimes I often hear from black men. I hear a lot of black men out here who say she can wear whatever she want to wear. But as a code, because I hear a lot of black men out here, we need to agree, that all of us need to be able to step up. Being a hero, step up and saying something when it needs to be said. I also heard, and I know my 2 minutes is almost up, but I also heard somebody say that Muhammad Ali was not a hero. All right, I gotta come in on this. Muhammad Ali changed a lot of things in the way this world thinks. Okay, the way this world recommended. When he came out and said, that you won't fight for me, in this country, why you want me to go fight for you? It changed not only black people, but it changed the way other people think. I mean, think about it. When you decide to go into the military, you are fighting for a country that may be standing for things that may not even represent you or your family. I'm gonna try to leave it there, but I kind of like want to say some more. But I just want to throw it out there. I also want to put the word out there called bravery. It takes bravery to be a hero, because the most of the time when it takes stepping up to issues, whether it's someone who raped your daughter, or I'm sorry for using the word, that word, but someone who raped your daughter and going across the street and killing the man. Does it necessarily, you might have that bravery to do it, but what necessarily does it? You don't benefit anything by killing the man that did it, but you do benefit to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody
Yo, two
else around
minutes is up.
All
you.
right. You ain't got to be like that, bro. But
God damn, man. God damn. That's
yeah,
cold.
Bro,
yeah.
It's
Ellie,
people I wanted to say that though.
Eh,
You need to calm down, bro.
all right.
For real.
Well,
This is the first time.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, when it come down to it, people have different perspectives when it comes to life. Because I would tell you 100%, if somebody was sexually assaulting my daughter, once I find out and I go kill them, I'm gonna get a lot from it. You know what I'm saying? So, people see things a different way. I would get a lot out of that. I would get so much. I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to do it again and again and again whenever it's necessary. But bravery is a part of what it takes to do heroic stuff. I definitely agree with that, and and I think we have to be honest about what we see as what's right and what's wrong, and that's why I'm saying this particular subject today. A hero is a self-determining thing. Now, is the world gonna see you as a hero when you're done doing what you did? Maybe, maybe not. Adolf Hitler did something. They thought he was doing the right thing. 6 million people dead later. Some people disagree. Okay, they say he the worst guy in history. Now I believe Stalin killed about 25 million. Adolf only killed 6. And so history will say what it wants to say about you, but the hero determines what heroism is for himself.
I have a question. What's the
Yeah,
difference between a
it,
hero
it
and a
all killed.
sacrificial lamb?
It all killed a lot more than 6 million people. It all killed
Okay,
probably
was it
about
8 million? I mean,
50 to 80 million people total. you, but vast majority of people who died in World War II weren't even soldiers, man. They were innocent people and women and children and old folks. They were getting blown to bits just in between all the bullshit that was going down. They
Well, no,
only
well,
cite that
what's
six
the difference
million
between a
because of
sacrificial
that
pawn?
so-called privileged group of people, and a lot of people who died in concentration camps weren't even a part of that outfit. Probably another 7 to 8 million people weren't a part of that outfit. So be careful with those numbers.
A little bit. Good.
The question I wanted to ask is, what's the difference between a sacrificial pawn and a hero?
A
I
sacrificial
want to
pawn
ask you.
can be
I
determined
mean,
by somebody else.
they could be they could overlap. It could
Exactly.
overlap.
So what I was trying to do.
Sometimes the effort of the pawn is necessary to achieve the greater good.
And that's what I was trying to say. The difference between the sacrificial pawn that no one actually cares about and the hero, quote unquote, is that the people appreciate what the hero did. The sacrificial pawn, no one even cares that he did it. The problem with black men necessarily is you have groups of people who don't want to quote venerate you for your good that you actually do for them. So at the end of the day, by virtue of them not understanding the sacrifice that you did, right? You can quote unquote, instead of them venerating you as a hero, they look at you as a sacrificial pawn. Is that
I agree.
getting through to everybody?
I agree with you.
Well, I mean,
100%.
again, I'll say again, I think the view of that has changed and evolved over time. Because if you go back 30, 40, 50 years, there wasn't all this equivocation on Dr. King and Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and the legacy of even people that we might disagree with today. You know, there was no equivocation on the legacy, for example, of Marcus Garvey. Now there is some now, but there wasn't much equivocation on Marcus Garvey's legacy 30 years ago. You know, I mean, so even the view, you can say that now, and I'm not going to disagree with how young people view that now, but that has not always been true. You know, I came up during a time where, again, you know, it's kind of waft over now. You know, I mean, I guess we're in the middle of it, but I remember when you know, Black History Month was the joint, man. I mean, the churches were hopping, you know, the schools, everything was hopping during Black
Kent,
History Month. So even
Kente
just the
cloth.
view of exactly, just the view of the celebration of the history of Black people has lessened as our communities and our families have lessened. You know, but because you all are young, and I understand you only see what you see now. I can't expect you to appreciate what existed before your time. But I do want to communicate. It's not some sort of disease of Black people just by virtue of being Black people. It's really more of a sociological issue that is a product of other things, including again the fall of our families and our communities have also taken a lot of the sheen off of our appreciation for our history and the contributions of our ancestors.
Now I'm gonna say shout out to Landon. Landon, he said non-small hats don't count, and of course that was in reference to.
That's what they would have you think. That's what they would have you think. You know, seriously.
I know I
Man.
agree with it because the fact that I just said about 6 million,
No,
and then
no,
there's all these
no,
other
no.
people.
The Roger Report don't agree or disagree with them statements. We trying to keep the channel up. Stop, Roger. Stop. Just stop, Roger. Who
Okay.
has made a very valid correction? We're going to go back to the top of the show. That's what we're going to do.
Hey, when you're right, you're right. But we do have another person in, somebody who possibly could be my hero one day. We'll see how it goes. I might possibly be their hero one day. Matter of fact, we got another one coming up. He's technically my hero in certain ways, okay? Because he get fresh coconut pancakes on the regular. So, hey, if you can do that, you my hero. But let's give it to J-Lock right now. You got it, my brother.
Yeah, how you guys doing on the panel?
Peace, man.
It's
Peace.
going well, brother.
This is an interesting topic, but you guys about here because this is really such a subject. Beyond the years I've seen my life, my whole 33 years I've seen, it's not that Black men got afraid to be heroes. It's the part that they want they when they be here, they just don't want to be ridiculed. They be demonized by it. As you can see, it was one. We had a winter storm 2 weeks ago, and people was trapped in the snow. Yeah, you saw it was one black brother that was a school bus driver that was trying to pick up kids and make sure they go to their destination. But then the news got out and report that he was taking children and we be aware of this man that's picking up kids, even though he was a school bus driver. So no matter how much good we do in this world, the wars we've been through, civil rights, um, you know, Black Panthers, we always get ridiculed, demonized, and villainized by the public. And one thing is that black men gonna have to be villains at this point and don't give a damn about what nobody say. Because the longer you live the hero, the longer you become the villain. So it's best to become. I mean, the longer you become the hero, you die. You pass away, and and people you sacrifice for nothing. But you become a villain, people will remember that. That's why. That's why I said do not be ashamed of becoming a villain and be selfish. Because nobody don't care about you as a black man or anti-hero. That's why I respect that movie. Two movies I admire: The Chronicles of Riddick. When he was villain, he was a bit. He was a, when I see that movie again, the very first one, he was being a villain in that movie. All he cared about himself, nobody else in that shit. And he was villainized for that. And Killmonger, he did what he had. He was a black America that he had a mission to accomplish. People didn't respect him. He came with force and masculinity. People was threatened by that, but he did let the mark of
All
what he
right.
said.
All right. Well, that's been 2 minutes. We jumping on niggas today. We jumping on niggas today. Thanks to Shark. Uh, oh no, excuse me. Thanks to usual business. My bad.
Hey, I was about
No,
to
it's
say,
your,
damn, I ain't do that.
your nah, your
Hey,
hype man
I
is the
got
one
something.
jumping
I
on
had something to
folks.
say, but I didn't want to say it. But
Chef gonna be on his ass today. I'm
Hey,
telling you.
I'm anyway.
it's gonna be one of them days, bro.
I'm finished anyway. So
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Usual
It's
business,
cool.
bro. That was not on the man. He was new to the channel, man. That wasn't hospitable,
Yeah,
man.
he was a brand new guy, man. He was brand new. Brand new. Matter of fact, look like you done chased him away too. Look like you done chased him away.
It's really Roger's fault. He didn't read
Yeah.
the rules when the man
Nah,
came up.
I mean the man knew the rules. He knew he had 2 minutes, and he felt some kind of way because you jumped on him. Hey, brother, we apologize. We apologize. Okay, we apologize. You welcome back anytime. Okay, you welcome back anytime.
Yeah,
But
usual good dude. He's smart. He's just a little rude
he's
sometimes. He's just a
now
little
he's a
rude.
little after
I may have said it wrong necessarily, but I need to adjust my tone because I'm not
What
trying to be
what
rude. I'm just trying to
what
keep
was
it.
his brother? What was his name?
and
expert,
knew it
expert,
and knew it
expert.
X.
Yeah, and you at X.
Yo,
He's
yeah,
still he's still up
I
here.
knew it was 2 minutes,
Into
right?
it.
I knew
Oh,
it
he's
was
still
two
up here.
minutes, but I'm
Okay.
just
Into is
considering
still
the
here.
rules a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, my
yeah,
bad. My bad.
yeah.
Well, I'm
Into it.
glad you're still here.
Cuss that
I'm
nigga
still
out.
here.
Into it.
I'm
Cuss that
into it.
nigga
Yeah, yeah,
out.
Now,
go ahead and tell me I ain't shit
hold
one
on, hold on,
time,
hold
bro.
on. This is what we gonna do because I'm not encouraging people to curse. But so if you want to stay back for a couple minutes when we get off air, then curse this dude. The but we ain't gonna do that in public. We ain't gonna do that in public. What we gonna do is let Tunnel Runner get in to say something because he ain't had a chance, and then we can flow from there. So Tunnel Runner, my hero, who get coconut pancakes regularly, you got the flow, my brother.
All right, my brothers. All right, all right. Am I coming through clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say
Gotcha.
to my
Gotcha.
wife, I'm a hero because she was looking for a hero and I came through. To one of my sisters, I'm a villain because I didn't
Mm.
stay and support the sisterhood. Even when the sister wasn't checking, she said I should stay and fight for these sisters and
Hell
be,
no.
and die for these sisters. And that, but I went to where they were looking for heroes, and where they were looking for heroes, I showed up, and she thinks I'm a hero right now.
Mm.
I
We
hear
can
that
wrap the
song
show up with that
playing
one.
in
We
my
can
head.
wrap the
Yeah.
show up.
I
We
need
can
a
shut it down after that.
hero. Well, I'm gonna say again, y'all. The hero is a self-determined thing. At the end of the day, history will give a report about you if your name becomes big enough. But I do believe the hero determines that for himself. And there's a lot of heroes, because there's big heroes and there's small heroes. You know, a high school coach, is he a hero? To a lot of people, he is.
Yeah.
You know, let's just keep it real. A lot of people, he is.
To
Sometimes
the people,
some of those
though.
people, well, I'm saying sometimes those people become rich and famous. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they just regular adults. I have a teacher that, quote unquote, I see him as a hero. One of the first male teachers I had. To me, he was a hero. You know what I'm saying? He told us what was real. He handled his business the way it needed to be handled. He didn't let people intimidate him. And he had a track record of students coming up to visit him on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? We saw that all the time. So he was a hero to many. Now he may not be world famous, but he definitely was a hero to many people. So my thing is the hero is gonna be the hero, regardless of what history's gonna say about the hero. And you don't know if history gonna regard you as a hero or not. The only thing you know is what you truly believe in and what you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to do something about.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman said, there's people, and let's be realistic. There are people who live in this situation. You got a crack house on your block. Now, either you cool with the crack house being on your block, or you trying to do something to get the crack house off your block. It is what it is. What you do determines, how much that matters to you. Because you can't say it don't really matter if you're talking about it on a regular basis and trying to do something. I'm gonna say if you're trying to do something about it, it matters to you. But if you're just talking and not doing anything, then it really don't matter. It ain't that big a deal because you ain't did anything. You know, so it's just about what you want. Now I've been lucky enough where I ain't had to live on the same block with a crack house, but everybody can't say that though. Everybody can't say that. So how much did that crack house matter to you? And if you a hero, you got to do what's right for you. You may think, hey, I got to do something about this crack house because this is going to affect too many people that I live around. Well, if that's what you determine, that's what you determine. Now, would you have to put up a fight to do that? You probably will. Would it cost you your life? I can't say that it won't. See, and that's also the part about being a hero. Ain't no guarantee you live through it.
Hey, Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And guess who you're gonna have to fight the most to get rid of this crack house? Your black woman, your
I
mama,
was
your
gonna say it,
sister,
bro.
and them. You're gonna have to fight them to get rid of this crack house. See, many of you who took umbrage to when I say that some traders gotta go. That's because when
Exactly.
I say traders, I'm talking about your mama.
Hmm.
I'm talking about your sister. I'm talking about your female cousin. That's why you got issue. And I say, yeah, them traders gotta go. No, they weren't traders. They're just supposed.
Like you got so basically we got to punish them. Frank Castle.
You gotta discipline them. Yes.
How you gonna dress them?
What?
Mama don't want you to do it.
Okay. What?
Can I say something really quickly?
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
I go ahead because I'm gonna say something after you. Go ahead.
So just for the record, because niggas think I'm wrong. These are a bunch of independent states that Alexander inherited, and the thieves revolted against Alexander, leading Greece, which were independent cities. They were not Macedonians; they were Thebes in 333 BC. Just for the record. Now, moving forward.
Just for the record.
Moving forward.
We still
Right,
don't
right.
care.
No.
We don't care. I'm here
Well,
to tell you right now,
I
we don't
care.
care. We don't care. A trader is a trader, and a trader gotta go.
So
I
they
guess he
weren't.
take that I was wrong back.
They weren't traders because they weren't Macedonians. They were Thebes. That's the point I was making. Now, secondly, what the brother said was really, really important about bravery, because the title got niggas looking like they shook. Black men are afraid to be heroes. Like we don't have bravery. It's bravery to go to another country and start over and get you a Latin piece of tail. It's brave to travel and start over and say, you know what? I'm going to plant my flag here and I'm going to build a new life. Right? It's brave traveling. That's called fleeing the frontier. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Plantation niggas are up here doing what they do. There's bravery in going to Uganda, right? And dealing with new challenges and shit like that. I'm sorry, and things like that. Right? Black men have always been brave. And I'll rest my case there.
Now,
Unless Uru is correct, niggas ain't brave either. But other than that,
okay, well, and I'm gonna say, shout out to what you just said because there is bravery about picking up and going somewhere else and starting new things out. There is a lot of bravery in that because you don't know what you're gonna deal with. You have a theory, but you don't really know what you're gonna deal with until it pop up. But I'm gonna
She
say
say
this,
play
just
that.
like
Yes, we can.
yeah. And I would say just like J Lock said a little while ago. He said, based on how things operate, it's just better to be a villain. And I'm gonna say, yeah, that's kind of the sentiment I was thinking about when I created the show for today. Why do we change who we are based on what somebody else gonna think? Because that is not a hero's journey. A hero's journey means you got to go with what you think. You may talk to some people, but if you don't believe something deep in your heart, you just don't do it. Superman, fictional character, but the first quote unquote superhero out there. A lot of people don't ask, why does he save the world? And people say, well, he does it because he can and he was raised right. But Superman could be raised right and still not save the world. He don't have to help people. He has certain abilities that make it easier for him to help people. But he ain't got to.
And Roger, he wouldn't if he didn't have them powers. That's why I don't like y'all using Superman all the time. Batman is a hero. Superman
Yeah,
is just a
Batman is
nigga.
the hero, bro.
Like shit.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Batman is a hero with trauma, but
Well,
he is still a hero at the end of the
No,
day. Yeah,
no,
man,
no,
we
no,
should
no,
not be
no,
using
no.
Superman as
Hold on now.
Batman.
he
Batman
had
is
it.
perfect.
Hold on now.
Roger said,
Hold
hold
on
on
now.
now.
Hold
Hold on
on
now.
now. Cause now you done did something, bro. You said Batman got trauma. Now I'm gonna be realistic, y'all, and I respect people who work in certain fields. I have certain respect, but I'm also be a real person. Is trauma going out to make things better because somebody you love suffered? Is that trauma, or is that somebody stepping up to the plate and getting things done?
Someone stepping up to the plate, getting things done.
So yeah, I was
I don't
rocking with
I
you, J
don't
Line, for a
I
second,
don't
but I
think
can't
Wait,
they're
I can't rock
wait.
with the
I
I
trauma.
have
don't think
not.
they're I
That's
don't
some
think
I
those are
that's some
I don't
meat-ish
think
right
those
there.
are mutually exclusive. I don't think they're
have a
mutually
valid reason
exclusive.
why. I'm a
I
Batman.
Hey,
think
I'm
if
hold
a
you
on.
Batman.
Wait, hey, Uru speaking. Hold on, brother. Hold on. Go ahead,
All right,
Uru.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, if you look at how Batman is typically presented, he's typically presented as someone who is perpetually haunted by the murder of his parents. As great as he is a hero,
Yes,
maybe you could argue he's the greatest hero, but all I mean, virtually all depictions of Batman, that's a central and core issue that he is perpetually confronted by. And
yes.
and he even frames his approach to crime fighting and even the whole dawning of his presentation as Batman is a manifestation of what some people would label as trauma. So, I mean, I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I don't think having trauma or having endured some trauma is necessarily a bad thing. I think sometimes the very best of
You
us
need it.
are able to channel
But
trauma into very productive things. My mother, drowned or whatever, so then I become some sort of expert
I
swimmer,
like guard.
lifeguard, or whatever, something like that. So very often, some of the best things we do are a function of response is a trauma response. So I don't
Thank
think
you.
those are mutually exclusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Superman just got jet lag.
I want to piggyback off you when you said that. But then it's also that is correct. And the thing is, you look at the villains. It was, I don't know if you watch DC cartoon villains, not this modern day age. But it was one I was watching, and the villain was like, "Why do you wear a bat suit and beat people up? We have got beef with you like that." And he explained to him why what happened to his parents and why he's crime. He's this crime fighter that he's so invested into the rich boy, and stuff like that. And they all understood, and the people that hired that murdered his parents was like, so you mean to tell me this Batman person exists? We getting beat up like this because you killed his parents? So now that and it makes sense now because all of them was like, man, we can't beat up by this dude, and you beat the trauma in us, your trauma, you can release your own trauma unto us. That we were just robbing banks, man. We just robbing banks.
All right.
But you want
Well,
that bank again, though.
let me say this real quick, and then we can get off this fictional white man. Psychological trauma is an emotional response to distressing events, such as abuse, accidents, or disasters that overwhelm an individual's ability to cope, often resulting in lasting mental, physical, and emotional or social impairment. And I just kind of Googled it real quick, and this what came up. Now, I'm gonna say when it comes to Batman, at the end of the day, his parents died because the quote unquote city failed him. His parents got killed. They wasn't in the best situation though, because they was in the alley. When you be realistic about it, they was in the alley. You know what I'm saying? Bad stuff happens in alleys,
Not the
so that
smartest
wasn't the best
decision.
move. But rich people do use doors that other people don't use. Sometimes it is what it is. Now, Batman, you can take that and interpret that he's dealing with trauma, or you can just interpret that he's doing exactly what he said he did in many different versions of it. I'm making the city better so it don't happen to somebody else. That doesn't mean you're traumatized. That's just responding to a bad situation, and you're doing what you believe you can to make it better. And Batman technically just has a lot more money to pour into stuff to quote unquote make the city better, because as he said in the movie, his superpower is being rich. He can afford to do all this ridiculous stuff that most of us can't afford to do because we got to go to work. And we don't have $3 million to invest in a quote unquote Batmobile that when it's destroyed we can just put another $3 million together.
Right. Did you see the most recent The Batman movie?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I think that one.
I mean, that whole movie was about what happened to his parents. I mean, if you think about that movie, that whole movie was about his parents and what happened to his parents and him responding to what happened to his parents.
I'm not gonna say a bad thing can't be where an ideal is born from. Okay, but the city failed the taxpayer, and Batman has simply
But
stepped
I'm
up to
saying
do what the city has not done.
when you literally watch the character himself as he's presented, you are watching a trauma response.
Yes.
You're watching his interaction with his butler and the problems that his butler had with what he's doing. And you can even go back to the Dark Knight, where eventually Alfred walks away because this motherfucker is all fucked up about this whole Batman thing. I mean, the whole thing is a trauma response. And then the Arkham, the Arkham and his mother's family apparently owned the Arkham Asylum or something. It just is all fucking trauma.
There's been many writers of Batman. Okay, there's been many writers when it comes to Batman. All right, and they all write a little different. Okay,
I have a question.
Since y'all are talking about trauma,
he wearing a big ass bat suit around the fucking Gotham. What the hell is man wearing a bat suit around here?
Hey, we gonna move off this fictional white man because guess what we got in real life? We got cops. And some of them cops, I'm pretty sure, got a backstory with something bad happened to them somewhere too, or something bad happened to a person they love, and that's why they became police officers.
Yeah,
To simply
black
make
man, a
stuff
black man,
better.
yeah, a black guy BBC'd his
Look,
wife down. That's why he got cop and he started
I,
getting every cop and stuff like that. That's why
I,
he
No,
became a
no.
cop.
I have a real life question about the topic. Real life question. So the topic is, are black men afraid to be heroes? Could
No.
it be that we're not afraid to be heroes? It's just the rest of the country, i.e., white men, are afraid to recognize us as such.
The rest of the country.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna say both, but I'm gonna answer that after I read this. Shout out to Landon. He said, "Bang ain't what you want, Bruce," and
You
that
know
was
what?
a quote from Alfred.
Wait a minute, what?
You know what? You know what? That's
Now,
fucked up.
Bang broke his back though. Bang broke his back. So
Don't be doing that.
That's so bogus. That is so bogus.
Don't
See,
don't
I got
don't is
y'all back
funny.
on the right track, and
Hey,
Roger
no,
sold out to the
you
money
have to come
to get
through.
us back
now we
off of
coming,
it.
You have to come
we
through
coming
for him.
right back there. We coming right back there. But I'm gonna
That's when you have
say,
to come through for him.
I'm gonna say, if Alfred didn't say this, he should have said,
Y'all stupid.
Landon could have heard in the place I ain't hearing from, But if he didn't say it, should have. Real talk.
But yeah,
But
I really want the entire panel to think about that question. Is it really that black men are afraid to be heroes, or would the rest of the country and the dominant society be afraid of recognizing us as heroes and what that would mean
Can
going
I answer?
forward?
Can I
well,
answer that question?
I'm chomping at the bit to get to that too myself.
Me
But
too.
go
Me
ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
Can I answer it?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
sir.
I'll
Go
go
ahead.
after you.
When I first seen the title, I said, "Oh, Roger's making a part two of yesterday's show."
What?
Remember the remember the arguments we was having yesterday. Ain't no other person stopping us from starting these non for profits and being heroes for the people of our community and the younger people in our community. That's us being scared because if certain aspects we think is going to happen and can happen, quote me, I said can happen also. So yeah, to a certain extent, it's just us being scared.
I disagree, but can I?
Okay.
I keep
Yeah,
saying this.
I don't think most brothers are afraid. I think most brothers do a cost benefit analysis based on the circumstances and history. If I'm a single man, my desire and will and motivation to quote save a community might be very different than if I'm a married man who have a wife and children in that same community. Where if there is if I'm living by myself, I might not give a fuck if there's a dope house a couple of houses up, as long as the drive by don't hit me. But if my kids are walking past the house every day going to and from school, I got a different investment. And I think as unfortunately, as we become less married and less family, a lot of that will to do certain things. I mean, I started me and a neighbor. We started a community thing which grew into something much bigger than we originally planned. But we started that because a pit bull crossed the block, almost bit his daughter, and we
Now you
took
make a
it
good point.
to
You make a
the
good
village
point, Uru.
president, and the village president said, "We'll start a group." We started a group. So I mean, a lot of it, to answer your question, I don't think fear is the primary thing. I think the issue is
It's not
most
being
brothers do
respected.
a cost benefit analysis, and well, they just don't think it's worth it ultimately, based on
It's
what
not
they have to
respected.
lose, what they have to invest versus what they expect to get out of it. They don't think it's going to be worth
I keep saying it, man. The part of the hero is you doing the action, but it's also the action being respected by the people. Repeat this, right? White people have no problem telling that they clan master granddaddy who murdered like 400 people. They revere him as a hero. You see what I'm saying? If he did good or bad, whatever, right? They still revere him as a hero. The difference as a black man necessarily in America, right? You got the most, I'm gonna call it the most evil, backstabbing, treacherous, treasonous woman in the history, right? So everything that you do that's quote unquote good, she would even lie to your kids and say, quote unquote, you didn't do this even when you did great things, bro. So that almost quote unquote stops that whole quote unquote hero notion. Black men have done amazing things. I said black men have done godly things.
Well, that's the point.
I
Me
said
and that's the
reality.
point.
Black men have done godly things.
That's
The
the point.
problem
Me and
is
Hot Sauce
we
was
don't get our
making.
respect for what we did for our actions and what we did.
Well,
But
that's the
guess what?
point. Me and Hot Sauce is making. If you do something and for somebody and they don't never say thank you, are you going to do it again?
Nope.
I'm gonna tell you something else
Oh,
too.
no, hold on now.
Yeah, all right,
I
man.
didn't say I wanted to get in. God have mercy. But see, this thing came up too. Shout out to Landon again. He say, save Keisha or mind my business. Choices. Now, I'm gonna say this, especially in response to what the Great Black Reset asks about, about the countries not wanting to view us as heroes. I think that happens, and I think a lot of us are also buying into that. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying he did happen to say it today. J-Lock came up, gave his spiel, and then say, you know what, just be the villain. And I'm gonna say, yeah, to me, that's just hanging out with white people too much, listening to them too much. The hero has to see himself as a hero. You gotta understand you're doing the right thing. Even if other people don't get it, or it takes them a while to get it, it may take years, it may take centuries for them to get it. The hero needs to understand why he's doing what he's doing and be committed to what he's doing. And then that way the hero can possibly have impact. If the hero can have impact, history will say something favorable, possibly,
Uh,
or history is going to forgive him. But at the end of the day, you got to live with yourself. So if I'm the hero, I'm the hero. I'm saying I'm doing these things that I'm doing. And not only am I not a villain, I'm a hero. I should be emulated. I should be copied. I encourage y'all to be more like me because I'm a hero. I am not a villain. A villain is a negative thing that you're not supposed to repeat. No, I'm a hero. I think it's better if you repeat the things that I do.
I'll challenge you on that. I challenge you on that because guess what? The villain.
You would.
When you
Of
look at,
course you would. The
look
guy
at
who called himself the villain. Of course you gonna be the
I'll say
champion.
this. I say this to you. When you think of a villain, his villain, what you got to think about, he's not just doing, oh, I'm gonna do some bad stuff. He has a motive behind it. He has a reason behind it. The thing is, what can you do to get done without people? You don't give a damn what people say what you did. Because guess what? It's not just villains. It's also anti-heroes. You forget about that now.
I mean,
Anti-heroes is like
uh,
the
uh,
Punisher. Anti-heroes is like the Punisher. They deem him as a villain. Well, he do villainous things, but he told people, you gotta get rid of these people, or else they will do it again. But the thing
That's not
is,
a
they don't.
that's not a villain, bro.
The
Anti-hero. I think see, yeah,
anti,
using words
they
without
look,
knowing
no,
what they
no, I'm
mean, bro.
saying they look at his a villain because he's an
hey,
anti-hero. He's an
hey,
anti.
the
They look at
Anti,
hero.
him as that.
not villain, bro. It's the reason we use the word
No,
anti-hero instead of quote unquote villain. It's the reason we use these
They
words, right?
look at him as that though. They look at him as that. I'm not saying he is a villain. They look at him as that because they don't do
Bro,
heroic stuff as a hero should do
but
instead of
look,
taking matters in his own hands though.
bro, once you're done arguing that, the hero is trapped in his own moral code. Whether you call him hero or anti-hero, that's what trapped him. His own moral
His
code.
own moral code. Part of it is.
Now, even if you take somebody as a Punisher, who's a more controversial hero, because he be popping people off. He's doing that because of his moral code, not society's moral code, not his girlfriend's moral code, not some community leadership. And he responds, no, he's doing that because of his moral code and how they determine his place in history, just how they determine it. Spider-Man does stuff under his own moral code. Now, we know where the moral code came from. We understand his great power. With great power comes great responsibility. That's something Spider-Man bought into. He didn't have to buy into it, but that's what he decided to buy into. And he operates under that pretense. Okay? Any hero does that. Your coach of the basketball team, he operates under his own moral code. These are people with access to kids. They can do all kinds of nonsense. Every hero ain't got to be a superhero. It's regular everyday heroes. The guy who said, I'm gonna put a business in this particular neighborhood so I can help this neighborhood out. That's the hero operating under his own moral code. What history gonna say about him, he may never see. But he ain't doing it for history. He doing it because he think it's the right thing to do. So my thing is, as black men continue to do things, we understand we're in a society that don't like us. So guess what? They're not going to advertise you properly. Why would you call yourself a villain as if you shouldn't be copied?
No, you're the villain for them. You
Yeah,
gotta
villain
accept that
is
I'm the villain for you.
I mean,
I
I
don't
just,
care.
exactly.
just don't care enough about the term. And in fact, if I could use the thought of me being a villain to affect my agenda, so be it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If I
Oh
can
yeah.
use some fear, if I can use some fear and dread about who and
Yeah.
what I am, and use that in a way to frighten and disable my enemy, so be it. Now, I'm not going
Yes.
to necessarily
I,
declare myself to be a villain just to be a villain. I just don't necessarily view the word to be something to be afraid of especially in what I consider to be a corrupt and villainous world to begin with.
The thing about the word hero and quote unquote villain and everything else that we're using, hero to who? The reality is the hero. Put like this: to the quote unquote squirrel that's about to get mauled by a pit bull, I'm that squirrel savior. Right. But to that quote unquote pit bull, I'm that pit bull worst enemy if I say that squirrel because quote unquote because he was trying to eat. The question is necessarily heroes to who necessarily, right? That's why I keep saying it's a situational thing into who we're quote unquote helping, right? Are the people we helping also doing their part in the what is it the hero business, right? Which is revering that individual, right? Batman is revered for what he did, but he also respect what he does, right? When he comes to the council and says this, they respect what he does. When Batman necessarily, right? Even though I'm not Batman, but Superman, whatever, right? He has his powers, he does this, but they also respect what he does, right? Even though he whatever he does, they still respect it. That's part of the game, right? I can do the great deeds,
But
but you also have to do what I do.
remember Batman versus Superman, and he's getting all this bad negative press, or Alfred is relaying to him this negative press, and he says flatly to Alfred, "Well, we're criminals. We've always been criminals, Alfred. Don't y'all remember that line?
I remember it.
Don't y'all
yeah.
remember that line?
I
Yeah,
definitely remember.
that was him saying, "Look, I have a mission to do what I got to do. I don't necessarily care about how society views it and label it. And if it means I'm
Yeah.
quote a criminal or a villain, so be it."
Now, and I'm gonna say to kind of bring this together a little bit. See, the thing is, it's the same thing, y'all. But when you call yourself a hero, you were saying you should be emulated. When you call yourself a villain, you're telling people you shouldn't be. We're literally saying the same thing. At the end of the day, you're doing things based on your own moral code. Heroes strike fear in hearts too, the same way villains strike fear in hearts. Villains strike fear in the hearts of the quote unquote innocent. Heroes strike fear in the hearts of the villains. So it just depends on where you decide to be along the lines. You know,
Exactly.
it's as a person who is a hero, I've told the story when a cop came to me with a gun out telling me to get out the car, and he wasn't saying it in no nice way. As the hero that I am, I understand I don't have to submit to this guy. He wrong. And by the time we get done, he will bow to me. because I'm the hero, not him. Okay. Now, I say people should do the same things I've done, but you got to understand certain stuff before you put yourself in that position. Because arguing with a cop and you don't know what's going on and don't know how to make that cop bend, especially when they got a gun in your face, is a dangerous game if you don't know the game. So you got to know the game first. But at the end of the day, I don't live my life in a way that I have to regret things. I am not saying I don't make mistakes. I ain't not saying I ain't made poor choices here and there. But what I don't do is regret. Why? Because I understood why I made the decision that I made. And when I'm dead and gone, somebody gonna call me a hero. Somebody gonna say, I was crazy. Somebody gonna say I was a villain, but you're gonna say something.
Okay. Let me say this right quick. You have to be very traumatized to be a billionaire. You have all this money. Instead of making coke out of a white prostitute's booty, you instead put a spandex on and start beating people. You know, instead of having some pink toast dipped in watermelon in your mouth all the time with a side of uh, pink chicken flavored booty in your mouth. You out there beating up people. You got to be traumatized to do that. But that's a good trauma also to have.
Say that last part again, brother. Say that last part again.
I don't know if I'm informed or turned on or turned off. I don't.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know how to. I don't know how to take all this.
If Bruce Banner would have been black, bro, I don't know how to interpret. I don't know. Gotham would have been. I don't know. Gotham would have been standing. Bruce would have been black, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, man. Imagine you on the beach with some pink toes dipped in watermelon, a side of pink chicken flavored booty. Instead of having death, you rather beating on people. Damn, you're crazy, man.
I got a definition for anti-hero if you won't mind me reading it.
Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. An anti-hero is a main character of a story, but one who doesn't act like a typical hero. A typical hero. Anti-heroes are often villainous, traditionally protagonist, main character, and focus of a story being an anti-hero, some good or noble brave. So basically, they have they often villainous. They don't act traditional, but they act villainous though. That's an anti-hero.
They're heroes, but they're non-traditional heroes. Your traditional hero will quote unquote won't say, "I won't get rid of this person." An anti-hero say, "I will get rid of the person for the greater good." They're not villainous, right? Because the word I know what you're saying, but the word I know they're using the word wrong, but I understand.
Okay, but dig this here. You're a white police officer working in the 1960s. And you come across the niggas because you white. You come across the niggas. You beat the tie of these niggas. It's 3 niggas. You beat the tie of these niggas. 2 of the niggas die. 1 of the niggas barely make it. Are you a hero or are you a villain?
No villain, shit. Fuck that shit.
No. It's a whole lot of people would say they're heroes. 1960s, you came up again. You saw 3 niggas minding their business, and you decided to beat 2 of them so bad that they died, and the other one barely made it.
You're an anti-hero for white people.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, for white people.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I know what you get reference on, but
no,
to them, to us, it's different though. But that's to them. But yeah, that's
exactly. See what I'm saying? One man hero is another man's villain, bro.
Rodney King took one of the worst. Well, let me just say, Rodney King took one of the worst whoopings since Jesus. You know what I'm saying? At least as far as recorded is concerned. And guess what? Them people, because unfortunately, I have lost channels, but I've done other stories, y'all. Remember, I did a story about who's the other guy? Christopher? The other guy who took on the police, the other black guy who took on the police in L.A.
Christopher Donner.
Yeah, Christopher Donner. Now, remember, as I was researching into his story, the same guys who was literally whooping on Rodney King had been promoted. They was bosses now. They don't just whoop niggas; they tell other people to whoop niggas. You see what I'm saying? So were they heroes or were they villains? Because they make more money now, they got positions now, and they tell people what to do, and they still whoop the tide of Rodney King. So are they heroes or villains?
Very good question.
So I'm gonna say again,
I
the
mean,
hero.
for white supremacist America, they certainly are heroes. For
Right.
white supremacist America, they certainly are heroes.
Now I'm gonna say, if you are a hero, you got to do what you believe the right thing to do is. You're gonna do it regardless of circumstances, and you're actually, if you accept that you're a hero, you're actually promoting that people should copy you.
For your people, though. That's the thing.
No.
You're a hero
I'm
for
saying
your people.
anybody can copy me. Whoever wants to copy me. Be more like me. Period. If you believe in what I believe in, the world gonna be a better place because you're more like me.
Like I said, that hero thing.
White people should be more like me. I'll say that. White people should leave black folks alone just like I leave black folks alone.
I don't know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? That ain't, you know, that ain't the good Christian way though, my friend. See what I'm saying?
The good
Christian
way
ain't the
is
good
not to bother people.
crusading way though, my friend. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean though. Yeah, I mean that ain't the good crusading way though.
It may not be the crusading way, but that Bible don't say go out and beat people after death. I don't remember saying that. It's, you know what I'm saying? I do remember saying something about not going out and start trouble though.
I don't know, King James. We added a new book on the back end, said that, you know, y'all Negroes got to go, bro. You know, we added that chapter in last month though. We didn't tell y'all about it, but you know.
I'm just saying that the hero is gonna be up for people to determine for themselves on whether you're a hero or not. Because it's white people that swear that King is a hero in public, and they can't stand that nigga when they in private. You know, they've been hating that dude since they was born. It's their own granddaddies, own grandmamas telling them why they should hate that nigga. It was no Dr. Martin Luther King, that Reverend Monkey guy. Now, then that's real life. So at the end of the day, my thing is, when you determine what your cause is and you willing to fight for your particular cause, if you don't see yourself as a hero, you don't see yourself as someone who should be copied. I believe I should be copied. You know, a hero got to say somebody should be like them. Superman thought he's supposed to be copied. He thought the world should look out for the world. That was his view because he's an alien. Okay? Now, Black Panther, you know, the way he was depicted in the movie, he was like, no, we're going to protect ours. We Wakanda, we're going to make sure Wakanda's straight. You know, who Michael B. Jordan play? What's the dude's name?
Killmonger.
Killmonger say, hey, man, we should protect all people who look like us across the planet. Why? Because we can beat these white people easy. Why not just whoop them? Okay? Now, who wrong to say we should keep what we got and make sure Wakanda's protected because Wakanda is ours, which I can agree with, but I can also agree with, you know, let's go take these white people on because they ain't got no chance. Now, and I only agree with that because white people, he's looking at the aspect of white people keep attacking his people for no reason. And guess what? For me, beating up a bully ain't a bad thing. I ain't never had no issue with that. If I come whoop on somebody for bullying somebody else and you say I'm wrong, I'm looking at you like you crazy. But to some people, you ain't gonna be a hero. To the person who was getting bullied, I guarantee you a hero.
And then you
There
got
was a scene in this
you got
movie.
you got people who are going to say, well, you shouldn't have behaved like him because what he's doing is wrong, but you're also wrong for behaving just like him. You know, y'all both wrong. You should do it the right way. What's the right way? My way. You should talk to them. You should kumbaya with them.
Uh,
See,
you, you, you,
see.
you, know, you know what? I remember a guy. I remember a guy, y'all. I ain't gonna say his name. We was in Boy Scouts, right? Okay. I'm a youngster in Boy Scout. One of the guys I'm real cool with, his older brother is there. Now he got attacked. The younger brother that I kind of hang with, he got attacked. And we out and about. The older brother with us at the time, he see the guy who attacked his brother. He was drinking some water out the water fountain. So he walked up to the dude who was drinking the water out the water fountain. He tapped. He say, did you hit my little brother? Dude looked at him like, yeah, I hit him. You know, and he was finna play the tough role. The older brother grabbed his head and put his face into the water fountain real bad, y'all. It was something real ugly, okay? And he said, nigga, now it's just your out. Now, to me, he's a hero because I saw him protect the honor of his little brother. I said, man, that's great. That's what I said. That's great. I saw a man who handled some business because somebody attacked his little brother. He seemed great to me. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's violence, and that's not how you respond. Dude never bothered his brother again, though. It seemed effective, and it seemed like he worked. And guess what? If I had a brother that much older than me, I would want my brother to protect me too, right? I'm looking at it from his situation. Well, he this age, this guy's this age. They got so many years apart. Would I want my brother to protect me like that? Yeah. And we
No,
was gonna be
Roger.
at this location for about a week. It was a week or two, I don't remember, but we was gonna be there for like 1 or 2 weeks. This guy could create more problems for his little brother until we leave. He
Can I say
had
something?
nothing else to say to him though. Nothing.
No,
Can I
Roger,
say
this is
something?
violence. You're supposed to talk to the guy.
What
You know, you're
hold on. We
supposed to.
got the new guy. We got the new guy. He's saying, can I say something? Bro, you could
Out
have jumped in
tomorrow, I'm
anytime
not
you
in the
wanted.
town.
You could have jumped in. What'd you say?
At some point, Roger,
No.
with the
But pronounce your
definition,
name for me though, real quick, just so I know probably how to
I'm
pronounce
into it. Into it.
it. Okay, so I was saying it
Into
right.
it.
Okay, cool.
Into
All right,
it. You can call me into it. At
go
some
ahead.
point, the definition. At some point, the definition that you're given is the definition of hero is based on what's it's different for everybody, and it's based on what you feel is a hero, and which makes it a moot point because we look at hero as somebody that's not only what they think is right, but what may help someone else, at least one or more people, is look at a hero. I mean, you can look at it if you think he did what was right with the water fountain. It's fine. I've been in a situation, man, trying to be a hero, and you could be trying to help a woman that's getting her beat down, you know, and that same woman will sit there and help you get beat down by the man that's beating her. I mean, there's a definition by which, and I don't think any of the black men, at least the black men that I know here or anywhere else, are afraid of being a hero. It's it's what benefit do we get by stepping up to the plate on some issues, and often for black men, it's a lot more. It's we walk by situations because we may sit there and say, kind of deserve that. Oh, well, it's not my business. But at the same time, we have to pick and choose when it's better because you'd be dead instantly, man, if you decide to just step into a situation that's not any of your business, and you trying to be a hero. I mean, I think.
Well,
Okay.
I
Look,
think you kind of playing.
if you take out that crack house down the block, Negro, you better be prepared to move your family. You better be prepared to move anybody you care about, because you instantly put a target on their chest, their forehead, or their back when you take on that crack house, and people know it was you who took on that crack house. I came up during the crack era. I knew people who talked to police, and then people didn't see them no more, or people saw them on the street somewhere. That happened to a
Yeah.
cousin of mine. So, I mean, the heroism is fine, but let's speak in some real kind of shit here. And brother
No.
Intuit, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm a a young boomer. So we probably know some of the same kind of stuff and seen and heard the same kind of stuff. Those of us who came up in the flush of the crack era and the drive-bys and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't a lot of people that quick to be heroes then, in large part because everything was so corrupt around everybody, including, look, when you saw the dope boys talking to the sergeant of the CPD kind of thing, you weren't too quick to jump off in no shit.
So respect it. Like we keep coming back to the thing that I kept saying is
But
that
no.
no one.
Let me add something to the story. You want to shut down the crack house, right? But slinging crack, that's how I take care of my family. That's how I take care of all my baby mamas. Now you're the villain for me. You're like, God, this motherfucker gotta go.
No, wait a minute. That's too fucking funny, bro. Because I know a dope man that actually take care of his family like that too.
Yeah, what I was gonna say before he said that, because sometimes we do play fast and loose with certain words. Okay, now he was saying something about a woman being beat down. Well, I mean, if she into it with her man, the heroic thing for me to do is to watch. Now, if I'm in a hurry, the heroic thing for me to do is to keep on going about my business because I got to be somewhere by a certain time. Now, if I got time to sit there and watch, the heroic thing for me to do is watch. Why? Because that's her man. It's very heroic for me to see some man check his woman for whatever reason that he had to check her and to respect it. Because I don't need nobody jumping in my business with my woman. So I got to heroically respect him handling his business with his woman. It is what it is. If she getting hit, how do I know she don't deserve it? What gives me the right to determine that her leader is wrong and how he's correcting their situation? She there for a reason, ain't she?
I really hate the analogy whenever we use a woman being beat by a man. And I have never seen a woman being beat by a man for being cooperative and feminine. I ain't never seen it. I have never ever in my life seen a woman agree with a man and he beat on her. I ain't never seen it.
I ain't never seen it either.
Don't get fights, bro.
Well, and my thing is, so why would I get involved with some man who done got into it with his lady?
Come on, Roger. You know, Negroes gotta pay Captain Saber.
I keep saying it, man.
What the thing is, I'm saying at some point in time you gotta choose to be a hero instead. A hero ain't gonna be involved in everybody else's personal business. Superman didn't break up people who was having disagreements. Now let's keep it real. He can hit the whole world. He heard every single chick getting on every dude last nerve. He can hit a whole world. He ain't interfering none of it.
Nothing about it, bro.
I ain't saying every writer of Superman did a great job. I ain't saying every writer of Superman did a fantastic job, but I'm gonna say at least they consistently got that one right.
They consistently got that
Nah,
one.
what what they subliminally was telling us was Superman heard what she said and heard what she did before he did what he did, and he was like, "Well, ain't none of
Hell
my
yeah,
business."
yeah, yeah. I
Superman ain't broke up a domestic
mean,
situation yet. Not that I've heard of. You know, maybe it's something in the comic book somewhere that I don't know about. I can assess. I can accept that. But I didn't read the comic books growing up, so I'm not gonna say something don't exist somewhere. But I do know, at least in the movie versions, and at least on television, he ain't never interfered ever.
I
From
mean, hey, bro.
1970 something to 2026, he ain't never broke up a domestic dispute. Think about
Hey,
that.
boy, yeah.
Yeah, well,
The
What he doing with
greatest,
Lois?
don't
the
What
greatest
he doing with
don't
superhero
say
Lois
of
is his business.
all time.
What he doing with Lois is his business, boy. And I'm not gonna check Superman on what he believes Lois can do. If he allow Lois to quote unquote get kidnapped every month and go save her, that's between him and Superman, bro. I ain't got nothing between that, bro.
Superman and sliding to save no help.
He saving your bitch. He saving his.
And I'm gonna say shout out to him for that. Shout out to him for that. He worried about the one he's supposed to be worried about. Now my thing is, as a grown man, if I see you into it with your woman, she with you for a reason. And whatever her reasoning is worth whatever she's dealing with. It's that simple at the end of the day. I took whoopings from my mama, I took whoopings from my daddy, and a lot of other adults. At the end of the day, I was their kid. I got to roll with what they said. Now, once I got grown enough to do what I wanted to do, y'all know what I had to do? Leave. My parents, they never played with me about that. You want to do what you want to do? Go ahead. Get out. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It wasn't discussion. So you play that game if you wanted to. They weren't gonna quote unquote kick you out, but what you wasn't gonna do in their house is run it the way you want to. That wasn't gonna happen. Now, if you want to run it your way, you just had to leave. It is what it
So
is.
let me
You
let me
know,
let me get let me get this straight, right? She she's in a relationship with a man, right? When he's giving her flowers, I don't know anything about that. When he's buying her cars, I don't know anything about that. When he's buying her new iPhones, I don't know anything about that. When he's balling out of control, buying houses for her, I don't know anything about that. But when she pops out of mouth and it's time for him to tool her up a little bit, that's when I'm supposed to intervene. I mean, what I'm gonna say, that bitch better fix her face and take that slap because she took everything that was good with it. Everything
man,
good she had, take that slap, bitch. Go.
honestly, if I see a black man hitting a woman, I'm pretty sure she hit him first. Because that's just something black men won't generally do. I see a lot of hurt black men because they wouldn't hit a woman. So if I see them fighting, yeah, I'm pretty sure she started it. And that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? That's not, it don't even stand a reason that he started. It's probably her. And at the end of the day, it's her man. She love him. If she taking if she gonna have sex with the guy who doing all that to her, man, that's on. You know what? Shout out to the lady who let me know that women was out here talking about if he don't slug her, he don't love her. I forgot who told me that, but I got that from some woman. Yo, shout out to that woman, whoever she is. Okay, if you don't slug her, you don't love her. Once I heard they were saying this stuff behind our backs, boy, that made stuff real easy to determine what should and shouldn't be happening. Now, as a hero, again, I got to live in my own moral code. A lot of people's moral codes will come together in certain places. That's why you can have certain unified fronts, such as teams, or me saying I love America because in a lot of ways, America represents some stuff that I agree with. Now, does America do everything I agree with? No, because I've definitely found out some stuff that America's done that I definitely wouldn't have done. And America mind too many other people's business for me. It is what it is. So I can't say America 100% cool. But life ain't fair. It's the country I got. Okay. And that's just what it is for me. I probably feel different if I was born somewhere else. It's the country I got. It is what it is. But to be a hero, I'm gonna say you got to determine what it is for yourself. and you got to be willing to say, hey, y'all, copy me. But we about to hit the 3-hour mark, so I'm gonna do some last statements again. And since Black Rule, you somewhat inspired this show. You somewhat inspired the show. Do you want to go first? Or you want to go last?
Yeah, I'll go. It's always thanks for having me, Roger. It was a great show. Um, I have a slightly, I don't know, and I guess it depends on what your motives are. I mean, I've done some things over the course of my life that, in hindsight, I guess appeared to be brave, and some people might consider to be noble, uh, and might consider to be generous and whatever. I think I've done some of those things, um, but I'd never really thought about it. I never really thought much about how other people were supposed to think of me as I did it. The only, I saw something that I thought needed to be done. When I ran for office a couple of times, part of me was very afraid to do that, because running for public office, you really expose a lot of your personal life. You expose potentially your family. Um, I wasn't successful enough to get elected, but over the years, I had people express appreciation for me running for office and saying that they were inspired by things. And if I ever ran again, let me know and I will give you whatever help I can or whatever resources I can. And I remember being very surprised by that, because I never really thought about it that way. I thought certain things need to be done in the community, certain things need to be done in the school. Uh, Money's been wasted, or I don't like the direction in which the educational programming is going on, or whatever. So I ran for office. I never really thought much at all about what other people would think about me in any sort of heroic way. I just thought about what I thought needed to be done, and how I thought about how best to do it. So I guess, and it's been my observation that it's fairly rare. Well, it's pretty rare that you'll see a hero, for example, or what we would deem to be a hero. They don't typically make much of a fuss about it, or they don't typically highlight or or celebrate themselves in any sort of way. They tend to just think about something that needs to be done, and they do what they can do. Maybe it succeed, maybe they fail. Let the people, let history, society, or whatever determine what to make of it. So I guess I would just say, whatever you choose to do, uh, be be considerate about what your mission and objectives are and what you're doing. And at best, we can just hope that history will make a kind assessment of it. And I guess that'll be my closing statement.
Spoken like a true hero. All right. Great Rack Reset. You get to go next since you start on this end.
Um, I think that we should concern ourselves with living our lives to be morally upright and to be righteous and to be blameless. Live your life in a way with integrity to be blameless. And the measure of a man is not how they're measured in the time of comfort and convenience. The measure of a man is measured during um, during very difficult times, times of controversy, times of great difficulty. And I'll leave that with you and let you do with it what you will. I land my plane.
All right. Uncle Sam will screw you. You got it. Uncle Sam will screw you going one. Uncle Sam will screw you going twice. Hey, y'all, sometimes people got to go to the bathroom. It is what it is. Usual
We didn't
business.
want to hear. We didn't want to hear what he had to say anyway.
Nah.
All
Hey,
right.
man, unless you got a privilege, if you ain't on the mic when he's supposed to be, oh, you know what? He do got a privilege. So I guess I shouldn't have put him in the bathroom. All right, we're going to forgive him. He was at the sink doing something. We'll give him that. All right, but the
We'll give
rest
him
of y'all in the bathroom. Go ahead, usual business.
Like I said, a hero is a man who does great things, right? Uh, of valor, of courage, and whatever, right? And that also that the people also look up to him and say, this person is a valor and did great things. We should emulate this person, right? That's why what's the dude's name? MJ was considered a hero. Why? Because if everybody had looked up to him and had that quote unquote Michael Jordan mentality, where would we be at? I'm be honest. If we all had the Michael Jordan mentality or the quote unquote, let's say the Black Uber mentality, you know what? I'm gonna go run for this, right? And I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna accomplish this, right? And then the people also came to him and said, "Hey, we see your good deeds. We're gonna support you." It was him plus the people acknowledging his good deeds, right? So, um, it is a two-part thing. It's just not a one-part thing. It is the individual being able to do great things and accomplish great things. I've seen Black men do things that most people would consider godly. And I repeat this: I have seen Black American men do things that most people consider godly. The only problem with us necessarily is it's not being seen as quote unquote as a god level talent that it is. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop right there. Thank you.
Your 2 minutes is up.
All right. Intimate. Yeah. You got it, man. You got it.
I just want to thank Usual Business. I think he laid it down and he summed it up well. I want to piggyback on a little bit of what he said and what Black Uru said is, it starts within us and our moral code, what we have inside. But it should not just influence one, but we should try to influence many others that are out there. And that's what a hero is. And I think we all got some hero in us just by being men. So that's a simple question for me. But the action you take doesn't always have to be one of violence. It's often can be dealt with in many ways with words. Okay, so you know, going up, talking to other people and influencing them in positive ways. What we're doing right here to each other is being a hero because we want to transfer a certain narrative, a certain thing to other men. So to me, that's what being a hero is. It's not really just an individual thing. It's how we want to change the world. That's what it is. It's how we're gonna do that. But I'm gonna leave it there, and I don't want to hit the 2 minute thing again. So I'll see you guys later.
Well, you know what? Before you go, if you want to hold off to the end of the show and curse our usual business once we get off air, you are welcome to do so. But we're gonna give it to Emperor Dessalines. Any last statement from you?
I'm not the hero for nobody. I'm my only hero. Okay. I heard some of you talking about shutting down the crack house. Yeah, I ain't gonna let you shut down my operation because that's how I feed my 7 baby mamas. All right. So for me,
I hate this motherfucker.
so for me, you're the villain, and you gotta go because I'm trying to stack my dough high enough so that I can retire. I'm finna go. I'm finna be on the beach with them pink toes dipped in watermelon. You know,
He trying to make it 18, bro. He trying to make it 18 baby mamas, boy, by the end of this year.
Yeah, pink chicken flavored booty in my mouth, thick thighs dipped in baby oil with a little crack sprinkled on it. That's my retirement plan. All right, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Thank you.
Boy, niggas. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm telling you, why?
All right, y'all. I think it's been a great show. Honestly, I really do think it is. And I hope people really, kind of think about why this show was done. And of course, I am not saying black men are cowards. We've never been cowards. We've always had the courage to do the heroic thing. I'm just saying at this particular point in time, I think we should also accept that we're heroes and don't be afraid of the label. I understand it's a label and the label comes with things, but it's things that we already come with. So why be afraid of it? I am the hero. The best thing you can do is find the good things about me and be those good things. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, well, no, I ain't gonna never tell somebody to be like me. No. Let's be realistic. Everybody should have something about them that you believe other people should copy, and the world would be a better place if they did. And that's real talk. We all do different things at different levels. It takes a certain amount of courage to do the different things that we do. Running for politics it does take a lot of courage. Okay. Some of y'all out there are actual firemen. That takes courage. Some of y'all are actually working in the prison system. That takes courage. A lot of different things take courage. Even what I do takes some level of courage because I understand they might come after me one day. But it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. I just need to be ready. That's all. Okay. This stuff takes courage. Different type of courages for different things. There's different things that God put in you so you can do the thing that you was meant to do. Okay. Don't worry about trying to be what somebody wants you to be. Do the thing that you was meant to be. And we all get a lot further that way. I hope this sits well with y'all. Hope everyone has a great evening. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, y'all. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you live, Chicago time. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.